Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Wherever you're at in the world, welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary. And tonight we are going to be bringing you Team USA versus Cuba in the semifinals of the World Baseball Classic. The 2023 semifinal is a one-and-done showdown between these two nations. And it is going to be the winner will take on the game that's going to be taking place tomorrow night. That will feature Team Mexico and Samurai Japan for that shot to play in the final. Well, we're going to give you the starting lineups for tonight's game, and we'll kick it off with the Cubans, who will be the visiting team. Leading off and in left field is wearing number 1, Roel Santos. Batting second and playing third base is number 10, Johan Moncada. Batting third and in center field is number 88, Luis Robert. And the cleanup spot and doing the designated hitting is number 54, Alfredo de Spagna. Batting fifth and playing shortstop is number 71, Irizabel Barrena. And I have a little bit of a problem saying that, so hopefully we can get that sorted. We have batting sixth at second base, number 77, Andy Ibanez. Batting seventh and doing the catching is number 40, Ariel Martinez. Batting eighth at first base is number 33, Yadir Drake. And batting ninth in right field is number 7, Yolkis Giebert. And they are going to be facing the veteran of the St. Louis Cardinals. It is going to be Adam Wainwright taking to the mound. Wainwright is 1-0 in the Classic. He's pitched 4 innings. He's allowed 5 hits, 1 run, which has been earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 4. And he will take to the hill for the United States in this one. And now the starting lineups for the Americans, who will be as the home team in this one. Leading off and in right field is number 3, Mookie Betts. Batting second and playing center field is number 27, Mike Trout. Hitting third and playing first base is number 46, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting fourth and playing third base is number 28, Nolan Arenado. And the fifth spot in left field is number 12, Kyle Schwarber. Batting sixth and doing the catching is number 16, Will Smith. Hitting seventh and doing the designated hitting is number 20, Pete Alonso. Batting eighth and wearing number 7 is Tim Anderson. He'll play second base. And batting ninth at shortstop, wearing number 8 is Trey Turner. And they are going to be facing Ronis Elias, who is a pitcher with the Seattle Mariner organization. Elias has pitched 7 innings in the Classics. He's allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, both of which have been earned. He has walked 1 and struck out 3. Well, those are your starting lineups, everybody, for tonight's game. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We appreciate you guys for checking in here with us. It is Cuba versus Team USA. It all gets going in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Cuba versus USA. The lineups are being exchanged by the 2 managers, and we will be getting this one here going in just a couple moments. As USA and Canada have completed their stuff, we will get you all the information that you need, including the umpires for this one. And that is going to be, as the game is going to be played indoors again, it's going to be John Tumpain who is working the plate. They're going to go with 6 officials in this one here. At first base, it's going to be Quinn Walcott. The second base umpire is Lance Barkdale. It's going to be Jung Choi Park working third base. The left field line is going to be Ramiro Alfaro, and the right field line is Edward Penales. The roof is closed, and it is a 72 degrees, perfect temperatures for this game to be played in Miami tonight. Well, those are your starting lineups. Those are the umpires. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. We're glad you guys could listen in, whether you listen live or on delay. We'll be right back in just a couple moments with all the action after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moments away from the first pitch. It is going to be Roel Santos, Yoan Moncada, and Luis Robert to come to bat for the Cubans to get this one going. It is the top of the first inning, just about to get underway. Cuba, of course, kind of backdoored their way into the elimination rounds. It looked like that they were all but dead. They had lost their first couple of games of the tournament, won the back couple, and it was a 5-way tie in their group as everybody was 2-2, and it had to go to run difference to determine who was actually going to go on and who was going to go home. And it didn't look very well for them. The Dutch had a 2-1 series lead, and they had to go play Italy in the final game. And they ended up losing to Italy, and that ended up opening up the can of worms. And the next thing you know is it was the Italians and the Cubans ended up coming out of the action, or came out of that particular group. And of course, then they went on into the next portion against the in Japan, and were able to come through from there. And now they are here to play in the semifinals against the Americans. Adam Wainwright is just taken to the hill as he's going to get his warm-up tosses in. We're going to get this one going in just a couple moments. We appreciate everybody here for stopping by, listening in to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the game between Cuba and the United States. We'll be back in 30 with Cuba coming to bat. Welcome back, everybody. It is Adam Wainwright taking to the hill. He is just completing his warm-up tosses. He is 1-0 in the Classic. As we mentioned at the top of the stream, he's got 4 innings under his belt. He's allowed 5 hits, 1 run earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 4, and so he is going to be entrusted to go head-to-head against the Cubans here tonight. Santos, Moncada, and Robert to get things going. And it will be a sort of a mix of current Major League players, current Japanese players that are playing in the Cuban lineup, and some domestic players. I have to say, I've not seen some of these players play before. And then, of course, in the lineup tonight is Andy Ibanez, who's with the Detroit Tiger organization. And this is going to be his first action of the series. So he hasn't played anything at all, and now he's getting an opportunity to get into the lineup in the 6th spot where he will play tonight. So Santos, Moncada, and Robert here ready to go as the Americans have completed their warm-up tosses. Has Wainwright ready to get this one underway. Well, Santos is 6 for 14 in the Classic. He's got no homers and a couple RBIs. One bit of note is that the Cubans as a collective whole have not run very much in this tournament. There is a first pitch changeup that misses outside for ball 1. The count is 1-0 to Santos. That being said, Santos has both of the stolen bases in the Classic for Cuba. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to the right side. Diving to his left and fielding the ball is Anderson. He throws from his back. It's going to take Goldschmidt offline. And reaching safely is going to be Santos. He got down the line in a hurry, and he is going to be the first base runner of the ball game. We're going to have to wait to see how the scorer fields this. It was a tough play by Anderson going to his left. He was able to knock the ball down, but when he threw from his backside to first base, it took Goldschmidt off of the base to the infield side. Goldschmidt caught the ball, tried to apply the tag to the runner, and was not able to come up with it. So that is now going to be a runner at first, and it's going to bring Yoan Moncada to the plate. So right off the bat, we've got action in Miami. So Wainwright now working from the set. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner for ball one. And the count is 1-0. I have to be conscious to say what exactly the pitches are. It looked like it was a changeup to begin the game, but Wainwright has thrown 3 pitches that have not cracked 86 miles an hour. Here comes the next offering, and it is a breaking ball that is swung on and tapped foul over on the first base side, and the count is 1-1. I know Wainwright has lost a few miles off his fastball, but I wouldn't have expected it to be in the mid-80s at this point. Moncada is 8 for 19 in the tournament. He's got a homer and 5 runs batted in. He bats from the left side against the American Wainwright. There is a fastball that just misses low, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Moncada originally came to the United States with the Boston Red Sox. He was traded to the Chicago White Sox, where he calls his home now. When Moncada was in the minor leagues, he had a propensity for eating a lot of Twinkies. As he swings through a fastball, and the count now goes to 2-2. And that was one of the alarming pieces that had come about. They were really, really concerned about Yoan Moncada's eating habits in the minor leagues with Boston. He was sometimes eating upwards of 50 Twinkies a week. So here comes the offering now from the right-hander Wainwright. It's the breaking ball swung on and tap foul. It's going to keep the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We had a very festive crowd the last couple of nights in the stream, and with Cuba playing here in the Classic against Team USA. Curious to see how many folks will join us here tonight. As the right-hander Wainwright kicks and delivers, it is a fastball swung on. It is tapped slowly back to the mound. Wainwright has to field it as it's going toward the first baseline. He does, and he's got no play anywhere as Moncada has been able to run it out. Wainwright was looking for that ball, hopefully to pick a little bit of English on it to go foul. But he was able to have to field it just past the 45-foot stripe. And he had to field it, and he had to play nowhere, couldn't get anybody, and now they've got runners at first and second. That will go down as a base hit for Moncada, and so that puts runners at first and second with nobody gone and brings Luis Robert to the plate. So the Cubans off to a quick start. So just like the last 2 games that we've witnessed, both of the games with Puerto Rico and the Mexicans, and then last night with Team USA and Venezuela, lots of action in the first inning. So Luis Robert steps to the plate, and here is the first offering. It is a breaking ball swung on. It's tapped back to Wainwright, but it's gotten through him. It's going to get over to Tim Anderson, the second baseman, and now the Cubans have the bases loaded with nobody out. We're going to have to see how the official scorer rules that one. And they've gone up with the hit sign. It was a bit of a chopper that squirted by the pitcher. And 3 consecutive singles have the Cubans with the bases loaded and nobody out here in the top of the first inning. That's going to bring Alfredo Despaigne to the plate. Well, we've seen a lot of Alfredo Despaigne over the last few years. He played for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks in the Japanese League. He is in the twilight of his career. Despaigne is the all-time leader in home runs in the World Baseball Classic. He has 7 to his name. He is a big fella, and he's got a lot of juice in the bat. So far in the tournament, he is 7 for 17. He's got no homers and 4 runs batted in. But this is the type of environment that he thrives under. So the big fella is up on the plate, waiting here on the offering from Wainwright, who kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Alfredo Despaigne. And on top of that, he's had 20 RBIs in the history of the Classic. Total bases, he's second all time with 52. I'm not sure how many doubles and triples he will hit in this one. He looks like he's got a little bit of extra baggage around the waistline, as there is a breaking ball that misses down and the count is 2-0. And this is probably the worst possible start that the Americans could have envisioned, as Adam Wainwright has the bases loaded and nobody out here in the first inning, and it's 2 balls and no strikes to Despania. Right-hander against the right-hander. Wainwright gets his sign from his catcher, Will Smith, tonight. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball at 88. That's the fastest pitch we've seen all night from Wainwright. It catches the outside corner, and the count goes to 2-1. Defensively for the United States, from left to right, it is Kyle Schwarber getting the nod in left field tonight. Mike Trout is in center, and Mookie Betts is in right field. Around the horn from first to third, it is Paul Goldschmidt at first, Tim Anderson at second, Trey Turner's the shortstop, and the third baseman's Nolan Arenado. Of course, the battery is Wainwright and Will Smith. So here comes the 2-1 offering to Despania. It's a breaking ball that he checks his swing and fouls it away. He's going to run the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes to the big fella. Despania, as we mentioned, he had won a number of championships with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. But at the end of last season, Fukuoka decided to break up some of that international core that they had, as well as Yurizabel Graciel, who's with the Cuban team, but not in the lineup tonight, as they were mainstays over the last few years with Fukuoka. So here comes the offering from the right-hander Wainwright. He checks the runners and kicks and delivers. It's a fastball at 88 that misses down and away. The count is now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Alfredo Despania. Waiting on deck is the shortstop, Arizabel, and I'll have to keep working on this. It's Arrubarrena, and when I first saw it, it kind of reminded me of Hechavarria, the shortstop who played for Chiba last year and had played with many teams in Major League Baseball. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and it's going to be ball 4 to Despania. He's going to draw himself a walk. He held off on that pitch. He gets himself an RBI. It's going to advance all the runners to base, and Raul Santos is going to come around to score with the first run of the ball game. And the Cubans still have something going here in the first inning with nobody out. So bases are full of Cubans. And now Arizabel Arrubarrena now coming to the plate. For Arrubarrena in the tournament, he is 6 for 18. He's got a homer and 3 runs batted in. As I mentioned before, the speed that I would have anticipated from the Cubans, they don't really have that on the base paths. Only 2 stolen bases from Santos that are in this starting lineup here tonight. So Andy Pettitte made a trip to the mound to talk to Adam Wainwright, and the conference has now been broken up. And we're ready to resume the action as the Americans are trailing here 1-0 in the top of the first inning. They say that Wainwright is the 4th oldest pitcher to start a World Baseball Classic game at 41 years, 201 days. He is on the hill. I'd like to know who the other 3 pitchers are that were older than Wainwright. So he holds himself at the belt, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Arrubarrena. Arrubarrena bats from the right side. He's a stocky fella. When you look at him, shortstop probably isn't what would come to mind. He's a little bit thicker than most. And here comes the 1-0 offering, as it is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-0. Well, I think if you're the Americans, there's nowhere to hide here. You can't wait like you did with Daniel Bard last night. You've got to make sure somebody is up and throwing at this point, because you don't want to let this game get out of hand too early. Now, mind you, it's not like the Cubans can roll out a pitching staff from 2003 when they had El Duque and others. But that being said, there's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1. You certainly don't want to spot the Cuban side a big lead, because they could make it hurt and make it pay pretty quickly. So that last pitch looked like it crossed up Will Smith. It was a breaking ball, and I know he maybe hasn't caught Wainwright so much, Not only did it cross up Smith, it seemed to confuse the hitter as well. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike to Arrobarenia. Arrobarenia batting here with the bases loaded. 1 run already on the board for the Cubans. Taps the plate, waggles the bat, and he's waiting on the offering here from Wainwright, who gets this sign from his catcher, Smith. Now he works set to the belt. He checks the runners, and he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded over the third. They come home with it for the force, and that is going to be the first out of the inning. It's going to go down as a fielder's choice. Moncada is going to be erased 5-2 for the first out of the inning. Luis Robert will advance to third. Despaño will move over to second, and Arrobarenia will be reaching first on the fielder's choice. So 1 gone here, and that is going to bring up the second baseman, Andy Ibanez. So they're cheering in the crowd as the Americans got the first out of the game, and now they're going to be hunting for a double play. So Ibanez stepping to the plate. As we said, he's got no statistics here in the Classic. He bats from a closed stance, which is not always seen. And there's the first pitch swung on. It has popped up in the infield. Camping out underneath it is Tim Anderson. The infield fly rule is in effect. And he is going to make the grab anyway, and that is going to retire Ibanez with 1 pitch. He has popped out to Anderson, and that is going to leave it all up to the catcher, Ariel Martinez. Well, for Martinez, in the tournament, he is 1 for 9. Martinez has been in the Japanese League for the last couple of years. He's applied his trade with the Chinichi Dragons, but he is now moving to the Pacific League, and we'll get a chance to see him regular as he is going to be with the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. So he bats from the right side, waiting on the first offering here from Wainwright, who kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on and tapped foul over on the first base side. The count is quickly 0-1. Well, the United States, if they can retire Martinez here, this would dodge a big bullet, as the Cubans had loaded the bases with nobody out. If they only come away with 1 run, you have to tip your hat to Wainwright here for being a magician to get himself out of this situation. So here comes the 0-1 to Martinez. Kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on. His tap softly over to short. Turner fields it. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Martinez on a ground out, 6-3, as he is retired to end the inning here in the top of the first. Well, the Cubans, they got 1 run in the inning on 3 hits. There were no errors and 3 runners left aboard. We're through a half an inning. It is Cuba 1, the United States coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action after this. Appreciate you guys for being with us. Stick around. We got all the action. More to come. One nothing for Cuba as we are moving to the bottom of the first inning. We'll be back in just a couple moments. Here is our friend Matt Hollis.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We are cruising to the bottom of the first inning. It is going to be Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, and Paul Goldschmidt to come to bat to face the Cuban left-hander Ronis Elias. Elias has no record in the tournament. He's working in his 3rd game. He has 7 innings pitched. He's allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 of which have been earned. He has walked 1 and struck out 3. He is going to be coming on to face a potent American lineup. There were changes in the American lineup after last night's ball game. Kyle Tucker, who got the start in left field last night, is not in the lineup tonight, as Schwarber will be taking his place in left. Will Smith is going to be the catcher tonight, is the catcher tonight, as he has taken over for JT Realmuto. And of course, on top of that, we've got Pete Alonso, the designated hitter. He came on last night as a pinch hitter. And then, of course, Tim Anderson and Trey Turner are still in the lineup. And here's the first offering from Elias. It is a fastball at 91 taken for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Mookie Betts. Betts now gets a fastball delivered, and it's a swung on, and it is lined down the left field line. It's into the corner. Digging in after it is the left fielder Santos. He picks it up and fires it in. And Mookie Betts has got himself a leadoff double for Team USA. And just like that, they've got a runner in scoring position with nobody out. And that's going to bring up the captain, Mike Trout. So for Mike Trout on the tournament, he is 6 for 17. He's got a homer and 6 RBIs. Against the Colombians in the last game of the group stages, it looked like that he was a one-man show. He was involved in all of the runs. And certainly last night he needed some help, and he got that from his teammates, as he did strike out 3 times in the ball game. But 6 for 17 he is in the Classic with a homer and 6 RBIs. He is always potent and always dangerous, and is in scoring position when he steps into the batter's box. So here comes the first offering from Ronis Elias, who works from the set position. He delivers a fastball. It's swung on and fouled away. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Trout. Mike Trout hopefully getting off to a good start here in the Classic and can parlay that into his season. We have Shrambini Tennis in the house tonight joining us and listening in. We welcome you, Yannick, to the stage. Here comes the pitch from Elias. It is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 1-1. For Ronis Elias, he began his big league career with the Seattle Mariners, and he bounced around a little bit. He returned to them last year, where he appeared in 7 games. And he is back in their fold again for this year. And here comes the 1-1 now to Trout. As he kicks and fires, it is a breaking ball swung on and tapped foul right at home plate, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Trout. It'll be Goldschmidt and Arenado to follow here in the bottom half of the first inning. Elias gets himself a new baseball. He rubs it up, and he's ready to go back to work. He gets himself onto the rubber, and he gets his sign from his catcher, Martinez. Now he works to the set position. Mookie Betts establishes his lead at second. Now Elias kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow right field. Coming hard and making the grab is Yoelkis Guibert, the right fielder, or Guibert as we might say it, if you're north of the border in Canada. And he has made the grab for out number 1. It was a sinking liner. He had to come hard. He got it right off of his shoe tops. Very difficult play. But he was able to come up with it and maintain his feet. Mookie Betts could not tag on the play. He has to stay at second base. That is 1 gone, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Well, for Goldschmidt in the tournament, he is 5 for 16. He's got no homers and 1 run batted in. The National League MVP waiting on the first offering from Elias, and it is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. I have to say, after last night's game with the American umpires, Will Little and Dan Bellino had some struggles. John Tumpain behind the plate is generally pretty consistent. He's a solid umpire. He's a veteran now, and there's a fastball swung on. It's belted to deep left field, moving back onto the warning track and looking up as Santos, and it's gone. A home run for Paul Goldschmidt, a 2-run shot that has vaulted the Americans into the lead. They have now taken the lead, scoring on all of these last couple of nights in all of these elimination games. And that is exactly what Goldie has done here. He has driven that one into the left field stands, and the Americans have recaptured the lead 2-1 here in the bottom of the first inning. As he gets the high fives after rounding the bases, that will bring up Nolan Arenado. The Americans respond right back with two of their own and hold now a 2-1 lead over the Cubans. And the Cubans may want to or going to lament that first inning because they load the bases with nobody out. Could only cash one run. Oh boy, that could be a problem moving forward. And the next pitch to Arenado is a fastball. It's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to him. And here's a breaking ball delivered to Arenado when it's down in the dirt, and the count goes to 1-1. Well, Arenado is 7 for 20 in the tournament, batting .350 with no homers and 4 runs batted in. And here comes the 1-1 pitch from Elias. It's a changeup that is swung on and fouled away. The count now goes to 1-2. Kind of makes you wonder in the last couple of games, all the runs that have come in the first inning, if that's because there's nerves by the pitchers or if it's because the teams are both pretty jacked up and there is a breaking ball that's in the dirt. But Arenado went around, says the home plate umpire, John Tumpain, and he is going to be retired for the second out of the inning as he goes down swinging for out number 2, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Kyle Schwarber. Well, for Schwarber, he is 2 for 9 in the tournament. One of those 2 hits has left the yard. It was a home run and 3 RBIs that he has to his name. So Schwarber stepping in, batting on the left side against the left-handed throwing Elias. He got the nod to start in left field tonight over Kyle Tucker. I think there's a general consensus that he batting from the left side is a better option than Tucker is. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball at 92 that misses down for ball 1, and the count's 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Schwarber. Schwarber has had a run of playoff success with a variety of teams at the big league level, as there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-0. He's currently with the Philadelphia Phillies and played in the World Series last year. He has a ring with the Chicago Cubs. He's also been with the Washington Nationals as well. There's a fastball that misses down, and it's now 3-0 to Schwarber. He'll be followed by the catcher, Will Smith. Well, we appreciate Shrambini Tennis for popping in here tonight, and we thank you for saying hello. We're always glad that people come in, and if you're popping in, let us know where you're from, because we'll give you the shout out as well. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the is ball 4. Schwarber has drawn himself a walk, and that'll be a 1-out or 2-out walk, and it'll bring up the catcher, Will Smith. For those of you who don't know who Shrambini Tennis is, he is near, I believe, Dresden in Germany, and he listens in and does some tennis and other events. I think today he was looking at, of all things, Formula One racing. So Will Smith steps to the plate. He is 1 for 6 in this one. He's got a homer and 1 RBI in the Classic, that is. And the first pitch to him is a fastball that misses down and in. It's 1-0 to Smith. That is 5 straight balls in a row delivered by the pitcher Elias. Smith waggles the bat. And he's waiting here on the offering, and now time has been called as the pitching coach for Cuba is on his way to the mound as the left-hander Elias has lost some command of his pitches ever since he struck out Nolan Arenado. He's 5 straight balls in a row now here to the American hitters. Just as a reminder, tomorrow we will be back on the airwaves again as we're excited to bring Samurai Japan versus Team Mexico. The Japanese announced that it's going to be the phenom Roki Sasaki taking to the hill tomorrow night. He is considered to be the best pitcher in the world outside of Major League Baseball. And I think there might be a few other pitchers in the Japanese league that might have something to say about that, as that's a changeup that misses down for a ball, and the count is 2-0. Starting with Trevor Bauer, who has recently signed with the Yokohama Danabe Stars. So 2 balls and no strikes to Will Smith. And there's a changeup that is swung on and missed, and that's going to run the count to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Smith. Schwarber not a threat to run really at first base. They're not really keeping too much attention to him. As Elias gets the sign, he works to the belt, and now he kicks and fires. It is a breaking ball that misses inside. A nice stop by the catcher Martinez, who had to move to his left to block it as it was starting to get behind the hitter, Smith. So that runs the count now to 3 balls and 1 strike. You're listening to Last Rouse Baseball's live radio feed, as we like to call it, between Team USA and Cuba, as we are here in the bottom of the first inning. And the pitch is delivered. It is a check swing, softly tapped over to second. It is fielded by the second baseman, Ibanez, who tags the runner, Schwarber, and that is going to do it. That's going to go down as a fielder's choice to 4 for the 3rd out of the inning. And the United States is done for their half of the first, but damage has been done. They had 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left the board. A 2-run homer by Paul Goldschmidt has the Americans out in front. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action here. Thank you guys for checking in with us tonight. It is 2-1 Team USA over Cuba. 2-1 for USA over Cuba. We'll be back in just a couple moments, everybody. We appreciate you listening. Here is a friend of our channel, Steve Rademacher. Check him out when you get a chance.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OPC baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you there, Steve, and your support of the channel. Be sure to check out Steve Rademacher after the game, as he's got all kinds of crazy stuff that he features on his YouTube channel. It is going to be Yadir Drake, Yokias Guibert, and then the top of the order, Roel Santos, to face Adam Wainwright. And the first pitch is delivered, a fastball that is swung on and is belted into deep right field, and it is going to slice foul into the stands, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Yadir Drake. Drake in the series is, or at least in the Classic, is 7 for 17. He's got no homers and a couple RBIs. He bats from the right side against the right-handed throwing Wainwright, who kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that just misses off the inside corner, and the count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I have to say, this is probably not one of the stronger Cuban lineups that we maybe anticipate or would have expected to see, as there's a breaking ball that catches the inside corner, and the count is now 1-2. And I think of some of the players that are not playing for the Cubans. First one that comes to mind is Jose Abreu, who has changed teams from Chicago to Houston this year. How he would be an impactful player in the lineup. And then I think of some of the other players, such as Randy Arozarena, who's Cuban-born but playing for Mexico, as there's a fastball swung on it is slashed through the 4-hole into right field, and Yadir Drake is on with a leadoff single. So just like in the first inning, the Cubans have their leadoff runner aboard, and that is going to bring up the 9-hole hitter in Yoelkis Guibert. Well, for Guibert, he is 3 for 14 in the tournament. He's got no homers and a couple RBIs as he strides to the plate. As Drake acknowledges the crowd, who in some spots here in Miami is very pro-Cuban. There's a huge Cuban population. And we have our friend Big Ray in the house here tonight. He says he's listening to me and watching the NCAA tournament. Well, we appreciate you there. And there's a breaking ball that catches the inside corner, and it's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Guibert. Big Ray says it's law in the state of Indiana to listen to basketball or to watch basketball, and that's pretty much truth. It is the state of Indiana is basketball crazy, and squaring to bunt is the right fielder Guevara, and he takes a breaking ball for a called strike, and now the count is 0-2. Oh, that was a good pitch. It was up in the zone, something he could have been able to get down. One would have to think they're going to take the bunt away now. No balls and 2 strikes. The left-handed hitting right fielder. So Wainwright gets his sign from his catcher, Smith. He's ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2. It's the one thing that you see with Wainwright, he just is not overpowering, but he does have a little bit of extra on the pitch from time to time. He can get it up. The fastest fastball we've seen tonight has been 88 miles an hour. But he can, at 85, 86, he's got a lot of backdoor run on that 2-seam. And there's a breaking ball waved at and missed. And that is going to retire Guevara for the first out of the inning. That's the first strikeout in the books tonight for Wainwright. That'll bring up the top of the order, Raul Santos. Well, for Santos, he is 1 for 1 tonight. He singled and scored the run in the first inning, the only run for the Cubans. It was a string of singles to get the ball game going. He is now 7 for 15 in the tournament. No homers and a couple of runs batted in. And here's the pitch from Wainwright. It is a fastball that just misses low. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. It was a borderline pitch for sure. Could have went either way, as Will Smith did a pretty good job of getting underneath the baseball to give the umpire, John Tempane, a good look. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a breaking ball that catches the inside corner. It's taken for a called strike. The count is now 1-1 to Santos. As I mentioned earlier, some of the players that play for Cuba, obviously maybe not the strongest side, as there is a breaking ball swung on, is tapped over to second, fielded neatly by the second baseman Anderson, who flips it over to first. And that is going to retire Santos. It's going to go down as a ground out, 4-3 for out number 2. So 2 away, and that is going to bring up the third baseman, Yoan Moncada. So Moncada tonight singled. He was erased on a fielder's choice as he was thrown out at the plate back in the first inning for the first out of the inning. Moncada in the tournament is now 9 for 20, hitting .450. He's got a homer and 5 runs batted in. Big Ray says that Hoosiers are about to play soon. And he asked the question about how the Americans had scored their runs. We'll give you a little recap of that in just a moment. So here comes the pitch from Wainwright. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1. It was a 2-run shot by Paul Goldschmidt in the bottom of the first inning that erased the 1-0 deficit. And that has got the Americans out in front here at 2-1 in the top of the second inning. Very fortunate, because the Americans had loaded, or the Cubans had loaded the bases in the top of the first inning with nobody out and only came away with 1 run. There's the breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes even to 1-1 on Moncada. Moncada will be followed by Luis Robert and Alfredo de Spagna, arguably the most dangerous part of the Cuban lineup. So Wainwright gets his sign from his catcher, Smith. He works set to the belt, and now he delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-1. There's 2 gone here in the second inning. The runner is Drake at second base. It's a 2-1 count here to Moncada. And here comes the offering now from Adam Wainwright as he works to the set position. He checks the runner, and now he delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded foul just past the bag at first base. That's going to even the count to 2-2 on Moncada. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Yoan Moncada. It's a beautiful setting. To me, it's a little bit dark and dingy, though, at times at this dome in Miami. You would never know that there might even be sun. It's like they're playing in a completely closed environment. Sometimes in some of the newer dome stadiums, they get some outside light that will peer through. And there's a Fastball swung on it, is grounded softly to second, is fielded by Tim Anderson. He flips it on the run to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out 4-3 to end the inning. There were no runs in the inning. There was the hit by Drake. There were no errors, and there was one stranded aboard. We are now through 1.5 innings. It is the United States 2 and Cuba 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. We appreciate y'all for stopping in here tonight. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this. It is 2-1 for Team USA. We're moving to the bottom of the second inning in just a moment. We'll be back in 30 seconds with all the action. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom half of the second inning, and it's going to be the bottom third of the batting order to come to bat for Team USA. That means Pete Alonso, Tim Anderson, and Trey Turner to face the left-hander Aronis Elias, who has served up a 2-run shot in the first inning to Paul Goldschmidt, which has the Americans out in front here 2-1 as we cruise to the bottom of the second inning. Interesting that each of the first two, or the games, the last two games, meaning last night in the final, I guess you would say, quarterfinal, and the Friday night game between Puerto Rico and Mexico, lots of fireworks in the first inning for all of the clubs. And that is stayed here again today. And there's a first pitch breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1 to Alonso. Alonso is 1 for 10 in the tournament. He got his first hit last night on a bleeder to right field as he swings through a breaking ball, and the count is now 0-2. There must be something going on in the crowd, as a lot of the fans behind home plate are looking in the direction of first base. As the pitch is delivered, there is a breaking or a changeup that misses outside, and the count is 1-2. Sometimes you see that there are a lot of, I guess what I would call a lot of, they don't always pan the crowd, but you get some fan interaction, and maybe not always for the right reasons. As there's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is 2-2. I think about the European soccer and different things, why they don't serve alcohol at the matches, because people can't handle themselves. And that's probably what is going on right now. As there's a pitch that's delivered to Alonso. It's a changeup swung on it, is lifted into center field, moving back just in front of the warning track. And making the catch is Luis Robert, and Alonso was retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away for the Americans, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Tim Anderson. Anderson again gets the nod at second base tonight. We had mentioned earlier when we saw the game against Team Canada, they said that he had never played second base in the minor leagues or at the major league level. And so he is an apprentice right now, learning on the fly. He is 5 for 15 at the plate, though, and he's got no homers and 4 RBIs. He does have a stolen base, and there's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike. Well, actually, that was just off my mistake. That pitch was taken for a ball, unless I messed that one up. So here's the offering now from Elias, and it's a fastball swung through and missed. The count is 1-1. That pitch there looked like it was a strike. The Cuban catcher, Martinez, wanted it. Looked like it caught the K zone, but John Tumpain didn't go up with the right hand. So here we go. Here's the 1-1 offering as the lefty delivers. It's a changeup that misses outside, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. We have Troy's Cards, Cars, and Comics in here. We've got the living room and Steve Rademacher. Everybody is now checking in. That's good to hear. Thanks for stopping by tonight, everybody. And there is a fastball delivered. It is tapped slowly just past the bag at third base, as Moncada picks it up and flips it into the stands for a souvenir, and that's going to run the count to 2-2 on Tim Anderson. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anderson batting from the right side against the left-handed throwing Elias, as he gets his sign from Ariel Martinez and rocks into the motion and delivers. It's a breaking ball that just misses upstairs, runs the count to 3-2. That pitch had a lot of bite to it. It looked like it fooled a lot of people. It looked like it fooled John Tumpain. It looked like it fooled the catcher Martinez. It buckled the knees of Anderson, but it was up and out of the zone. And so here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded softly up the middle. They're going to have to hurry to get him. It is fielded by the second baseman just over the bag. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Anderson. A nice play by Andy Ibanez. He was shaded toward the middle, and he had to field the ball flat-footed and made a good throw to first, and that is going to retire Anderson for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up Trey Turner to the plate. So Turner, in the tournament, 4 for 14, but the big blow was the grand slam in last night's ball game, as he takes a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So hitting .286 in the tournament with a couple of homers and 6 RBIs. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field, moving back to the track and looking up, and this one is gone. A home run again on back-to-back nights by Trey Turner. This time of the solo variety. That got out of the yard in a big hurry. And it is now a 3-1 scoreline for Team USA, as there's high fives all around the American dugout. The flags are being flown in the stadium as Turner crosses the plate. 3-1 is now the score for Team USA against Cuba here in the bottom of the second inning. Well, that's going to bring up the top of the order, Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts has slowly started to heat up in this tournament. He is 1 for 1 tonight. He had a double and scored a run his first time up. There's a breaking ball that misses inside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Betts now on the tournament is 6 for 22. And then he swings at a pitch, and he lines that one into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Picking it up is the left fielder Santos, and he fires it back in, but Mookie Betts has got himself a 2-out single. And that is going to bring up Mike Trout to the plate. Well, you can't sleep on the Americans in their batting order. You get the first 2 outs in Alonso and Anderson, and then Trey Turner deposits a solo shot into the left field seats. And it doesn't get any easier because you've got, in my opinion anyway, 4 future Hall of Famers coming to bat. Betts, Trout, Goldschmidt, and Arenado. And then some of the other players in the lineup, not that don't think that they're going to be great players. The chapters may not be written or finished written on some of them yet, but at least 4 Hall of Famers in this lineup. As Elias throws over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner Betts. Mike Trout stands in waiting on the offer. Betts establishes his lead, and now there's a fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to run the count to 0-1 to Trout. Trout 0 for 1 tonight as he had lined out to right field. It was a nice running catch by the right fielder, Yoelkis Gibert. He in the tournament, Trout is 6 for 18 now. Waiting on the offering from the lefty Elias, and it is a breaking ball swung on. It is hit into deep left center field. Moving back on the warning track and making the catch up against the wall is Luis Robert. Trout went to the deepest part of the ballpark, but he just couldn't hit it far enough. He is retired for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here in inning number 2. But the Americans add to their lead on a solo shot by Trey Turner. There was 1 run on 1 hit in the inning. There were no errors and nobody left the board. We're now through 2 complete. It is Team USA 3 and Cuba 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We appreciate y'all for listening in tonight. It is World Baseball Classic semifinal number 1 from Miami. We appreciate y'all for being here.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. That is our friend of our channel, Steve Rademacher. He likes to pop in here every once in a while, and we appreciate his support. And be sure to check him out after the game. We also are going to be back again tomorrow night, as we mentioned, to do that game between the Japanese and the Mexicans. As we mentioned, it is going to be Roki Sasaki. You're in for a treat if you haven't seen him pitch. He threw a perfect game last year in the NPB against... actually, I can't remember who it was because he pitches for the Chiba Lotte Marines. I believe it was the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. We saw his stuff full on. He's got a electric fastball, and he's got a lights-out split finger pitch. Breaking ball a little bit to be desired and not much of a changeup, but he is going to be on full display tomorrow night against Mexico. And then, of course, the winner of this game will play the winner of that game on Tuesday night, and we'll have the call for you there as well. We will be getting back into the calls of the Japanese League later this week, so if you're up late night in North America, be sure to check it out. There is the first pitch delivered to Luis Robert from Adam Wainwright. It is taken for a strike as John Tumpang goes up with the right hand, and the count is quickly 0-1. Back to work goes Wainwright, and he delivers a breaking ball, which is swung on and is lifted into shallow right center field. Moving over is Mookie Betts. He's got room and makes the catch, and he'll be retiring Luis Robert for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Alfredo Despaigne. Well, for Despaigne tonight, he officially has 1 plate appearance. It was a base on ball that brought in the first Cuban run. He's 7 for 17 in the tournament. He's got no homers and 5 RBIs. The former Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks star is no longer in the league in Japan. He is going to be applying his trade in Mexico as he takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. And here's the offering from Wainwright. It is swung on. It is tapped slowly back to the mound. Wainwright fields it. He throws to first, and it's over the head of the first baseman, Goldschmidt, and it's down into the right field corner, and making his way all the way around to second base is Despaigne. That's going to go down as an E1. Oh boy, he looked like he took a page out of the 2006 Detroit Tiger playbook by throwing balls into the corner on bunts and on short hot balls. That ball was not a veteran move by Wainwright. He didn't even set his feet, step in the direction. He flipped it right over the head of Goldschmidt, his St. Louis Cardinal teammate. Now he's got a runner at second base with 1 gone. Boy, I've seen some things tonight from Adam Wainwright. Well, we know it's not mid-season, that's for sure, but he's made some unveteran-like plays, and that would be one of them right there. And so here comes the shortstop, Isabel Arrobarenia, to the plate. And the first pitch to him is a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. For Arrobarenia, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He bounced into that fielder's choice back in the first inning. And now the right-hander Wainwright works to the set position. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. The right-hander Wainwright ready to go back at it again as he gets his sign from his catcher, Smith. You can see that Wainwright and Smith are not familiar with each other. Smith has had a hard time catching Wainwright tonight. There's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up over on the right side of the infield. It's getting back on the outfield grass, and Mookie Betts has come in and waved Tim Anderson off, and he's going to make the catch. That is going to retire Arrobarenia for the second out of the inning. And so 2 outs here in the third, and that will leave it all up to Andy Ibanez. As I said, Will Smith is not comfortable, or just at least the way that he's been with Wainwright is not comfortable. Very difficult. You'll see that He's expecting pitches to be somewhere, anticipating, and he moves and he has to dart suddenly a little bit late because there's just so much movement on some of the pitches delivered by Wainwright. I would have to think a veteran catcher or even Yadi Molina catching last year for the Cardinals wouldn't be as, I'd say, choppy with the glove as Smith is here tonight with Wainwright. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball one, and the count is 1-0. Ibanez batting here with the runner to Spania at second and 2 gone. And here comes the offering from Wainwright. It is a changeup that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. As we mentioned before, Andy Ibanez in the Tiger organization, getting his first action in the Classic here tonight. He's got a close stance. Hits from the right side. He waggles the bat. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on, and it's going to reach the seats foul beyond the first base dugout. The count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Ibanez. It'll be Ariel Martinez, who was in the on-deck circle, should Ibanez reach, come up next. And now here's the 2-1 to Ibanez. It's a breaking ball that misses upstairs. There's another one that Will Smith flinched on a little bit differently. He looks like he's going outside, and the ball stays up, and he's popping up, and the ball's moving down. It's very, very difficult. So 3 balls and 1 strike. And I do have to say that on the fastballs that Wainwright throws, very impressed with the amount of movement that he has. He's not particularly throwing hard. He's been sitting 85 miles an hour, touching 88 on occasion. But the amount of backdoor run that he has on the pitch is very impressive. And there's a changeup swung on it. Is hit to deep center field. Moving back is the center fielder, Trout. He's going to make the catch on the warning track. And Ibanez is going to be retired for the 3rd out of the inning. And that will do it here for Cuba in the top of the 3rd. There were no runs in the inning, no hits. There was an error on the fielding error by Wainwright. There was 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 2.5. It is Team USA 3, Cuba 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in a few minutes with all the action after this. Appreciate you for tuning in tonight. We'll be back in a couple minutes, everybody, as we got some more musical tunes for you. The Americans have a 3-1 lead over the Cubans. And that is where we're at right now. We'll be back in 45 with the bottom of the 3rd.
Let's go. Yo. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. It is a 3-1 lead for Team USA. They have scored each of the first 2 innings. A 2-run homer in the first by Paul Goldschmidt with 1 away. Got the Americans scoring on the board, and then a solo shot with 2 gone in the second by Trey Turner as the Americans out in front 3-1. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters here in the order to face Aronis Elias. It'll be Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and Kyle Schwarber. And that is who is coming to bat here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Elias has had some times where he's pitched very well, and then all of a sudden it looks like the wheels have fallen off at different spots where he loses command of his pitches for a stretch. He is in the Seattle Mariner organization, but we are going to get a pitching change here. It does look like they're going to the bullpen, are the Cubans. It's going to be Miguel Romero. It's going to be his 5th action of the tournament, 8 1/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 12 strikeouts, and no walks. So Miguel Romero on here. And the first offering is a breaking ball that misses down in the dirt for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. And the Cubans are having a hard time playing catch as that ball went over the head of Romero on the throwback from the catcher Martinez. So John Tumpain takes matters into his own hands to deliver the ball out to the Cuban right-hander. So 1 ball and no strikes as he works to the set position, and he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-0. The Cubans tonight are in pretty much their all red uniforms, red pants, red tops. They've got blue trim and white trim. It's white piping down the side of the pants. And here comes the 2-0 offering as they kick and deliver. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 2-1 to Goldschmidt. Americans are in that classy all-white uniform. They've got the red, white, and blue trim to go with it. Really like that. I don't know if I like their road uniforms so much, the grays, but the white home uniforms look very sharp. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over on the first base side, and the count now is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. It is the road that got Cuba here. They had to take care of the Australians to be able to punch their ticket, to be able to reach the United States after they had that crazy round where everybody, as we mentioned before, went 2-2 as there's a breaking ball that misses down to Goldschmidt. The count is now 3-2. In their round of, or I would say their elimination round or their pool round, they were in with Chinese Taipei, the Netherlands, Italy, and Panama. And everybody ended with a 2-2 record, and it looked like Cuba was all but out of the tournament. They had lost their first 2 games. I've already written them off for dead. All the Netherlands had to do was win their game against Italy, the final game of the pool. It would have put the Netherlands through. It would have automatically eliminated Italy, but then it would have went to a tiebreaker with Cuba, Taipei, and Panama. So there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. But instead, it went to a tiebreaker with 5 teams, and the Cubans ended up coming out on top. They won the division. It was defensive runs against. And then Italy was able to sneak in the 2 spots. So it ended up having to be, it was the Cubans then had to play the Australians to be able to get through to the next round. And there's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2 to Goldschmidt. The Japanese beat the Italians, and then the Cubans had to beat the Australians to punch their ticket to North America, or at least the return leg to come back to the United States. And that is where we are here, as they had a few days to get themselves reacclimatized to the time zone. And there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Goldschmidt is down on strikes for the first out of the inning, and that will bring up Nolan Arenado. So if there's one criticism I have of this, well, I have a couple of criticisms to the tournament. One is I'd love to see this tournament played in the middle of the season. Shut the season, forget the All-Star break every 3 or 4 years. Instead of having an All-Star game, have the World Baseball Classic in the middle of the season, right in July 1st to the 15th, or whatever it is, the 2 weeks you need to shut down, and be able to play all of these teams together. They'll be in mid-season form. There's a fastball that misses inside to Arenado for ball 1. And then the second piece I would say is play it at one particular site or one venue or one country. So if you want to play all the games in the United States, let's have at it. And there's a fastball that is swung on and belted foul down the left field line. It's going to hook into the seats, and the count now is 1-1 to Arenado. So a single country location would be great, and then rotate that all the time. So if it's going to be Japan or if it's going to be the United States, you can do that and be able to enjoy the baseball as they have it. And here's the pitch from the right-hander Romero. It's a fastball swung on. It is lined into left field, and Arenado is going to be aboard with a 1-out single here in the 3rd inning. He's got his first hit of the night. And he is now 8 for 22 in the tournament, and that will bring up the left fielder, Kyle Schwarber. So those are my two thoughts, at least how I would consider making this tournament a little bit different. Mid-season and as well as a single country location. But Major League Baseball runs it, and obviously they do their marketing and they feel that this is the best time where they can get the bang for the buck. There are no fools in that regard. So this brings up Kyle Schwarber to the plate. He is batting with a runner at first and only one away. The first pitch is a fastball that misses, and the count is 1-0 to Schwarber. So 1 ball and no strikes. Schwarber waiting on the offering from Romero, and it is a changeup that misses down and away, and the count is now 2 balls and no strikes. Schwarber walked his first time up and was raced in a fielder's choice. He is 2 for 9 in the tournament with a homer and 3 RBIs. It's a tough job for Mark DeRosa, the manager, on how to balance his players. The veteran players and most players want to play every single day. There's a changeup that misses outside, and the count is now 3-0. When you think about it, Kyle Tucker was one of the sacrifices in the lineup tonight. He is not playing. JT Realmuto is not playing. And so you move some bodies around who were in the lineup last night, who are not in the lineup today. Of course, Schwarber started as the DH, and he was replaced by Pete Alonso. As here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball that has come inside and hit Schwarber. He had no command of that pitch, did the right-hander Romero, and Schwarber is aboard as he's been hit by the pitch. It's going to advance Arenado over to second. Puts runners at first and second with 1 gone, and it'll bring the catcher Will Smith to the plate. Well, for Will Smith, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He bounced into a fielder's choice to end the first inning as he hit a ground ball to the second baseman, Ibanez, who tagged Schwarber running from first to second. So he steps to the plate. Smith in the tournament is 1 for 7. He bats from the right side. He gets himself dug in, ready to go. The catcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, a University of Louisville product. And here's the first pitch. It is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Smith batting from the right side. He's got the body armor on his left arm. A lot of guys wear that elbow guard. Extra padding, extra protection as they sometimes get themselves too far over the plate. Here's the pitch from Romero. It's a breaking ball that misses outside. Boy, pitch looked pretty good in terms of location, but Ariel Martinez was set up on the inside or more of the middle in. He did not get the call from John Tumpain, and the count is now 1-1. It's definitely going to go down as a missed pitch by the home plate umpire, who doesn't miss a whole lot. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Smith. As we mentioned before, John Tumpain is veteran major league umpire, and he's a very good umpire, very consistent. A few years ago, John Tumpain helped save a life. He was out for a morning run in Pittsburgh. He was on one of the many bridges that they had there, and there was a woman who was attempting to take her life. He was able to talk her down and bring her back to safety. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. The count is now 2-2. They were able to get the proper authorities involved and were able to get her to hospital to get her the care that she needed. It was the early morning run for Tumpain that ended up in a whole weird situation where he had to try to save someone's life, and that's exactly what he did. So runner at second is Arenado. The runner at first is Schwarber. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball that misses up and in. The count is now 3-2 to Will Smith. It's not been an easy inning here for Romero, who's come on in relief. He's already up to 20 pitches. I wonder what the availability will be for these Cuban pitchers. They've had a few days to rest. I would think everybody is available with the exception of the potential starter for Tuesday's final. And here's the 3-2 pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on, and it's driven into the seats foul. It's going to keep the count at 3-2 to Smith. The right-hander, they do have another right-hander up in the bullpen, do the Cubans, as there is action there getting themselves loose. Looks like it is Carlos Vieira, who has seen action in a couple of games in this tournament already. So the right-hander, Miguel Romero, ready to go back to work. Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Will Smith. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away. It's going to be ball 4, and Smith is aboard. So that advances Arenado to third. It moves Schwarber to second. The Americans have got something brewing again here, and it's going to bring the polar bear to the plate in Pete Alonso, a very dangerous hitter, as he is going to stride to the plate looking to clear the bases. And now they've got a conference on the mound here as the first baseman, Yadir Drake, has come in. Johan Moncada has come in. Catcher Ariel Martinez has come up, as well as the shortstop Era Barreña, and now the pitching coach is joining the fray. So the Cubans are having their confab on the mound. Miguel Romero has put himself into this situation after retiring Paul Goldschmidt for the first out of the inning via strikeout. It's been an Arenado single. He hit Schwarber with a pitch, and then he's walked Will Smith. So he's lost command of himself here, and now he's got the polar bear to face. One swing of the bat could blow this game apart in a big hurry. So we're ready to get back at it again here. This is everything else. We've got Tony in the house here. Welcome, Tony. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate you for being here and listening in to our call of the game between Team USA and Cuba. It is a 3-1 game, and bases are full of Americans with one gone here, as Pete Alonso has asked for time and has stepped out. And now he gets himself back into the batter's box, and he's ready to go again. And here's the offering from Romero. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. The left fielder, Santos, picks it up. He throws it to the plate. It is going to be cut off. They're going to hold Kyle Schwarber at third, but it is a base hit single for Alonso. That's going to increase the American lead to 4-1. He gets himself an RBI. Will Smith advances to second. Schwarber goes over to third, and Arenado will score the fourth run of the ballgame for Team USA. And it is now a 4-1 scoreline here in the third inning, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Tim Anderson. Not sure if that was one of the better throws from the outfield, but thankfully for the Cubans, it was Kyle Schwarber running the base paths. Was that throw from Santos? He definitely wasn't showcasing his arm. Pete Alonso, that's only his second hit of the tournament, as he had a bleeder last night for the first one, and that is going to be it for Miguel Romero. They have seen enough, have the Cubans, and they are going to be taking him out of the ball game. It is a pitching change that is going to happen here. We're going to take a timeout as well. We'll be back in just a couple moments after we get you that information. Here is our friend Steve Rademacher.
Hey guys, while the manager's searching for a relief pitcher, let me help you with some relief channels. On top of mine and Freddy's, you can always check out Redbeard Breaks, Zero Fox Sports. You know another Hollis build, check them out again. Maybe Beast and Beauty Breaks, or even Dab's Family. Oh, looks like they have their pitcher, so after the game, check out some other videos by Freddy. They're fun, they're cool. Enjoy the game, peace out, and cheers!
Well, everybody, it is a bases loaded situation as Miguel Romero is exiting the game. He is going to be relieved here by Carlos Vieira as he is coming on in relief. It'll be Tim Anderson to face him here. So Carlos Vieira on in relief as he is completing his warm-up tosses. We will be ready to resume the action in just a couple of moments. It is, or was, a rough outing here for the reliever Miguel Romero, who faced 5 batters and was only able to retire 1, and that was the leadoff hitter Goldschmidt. It was a single by Arenado to kick things off here after with 1 out, and it was Schwarber hit by a pitch. Smith walked. An RBI single by Alonso has got the bases loaded with only 1 gone here in the 3rd inning. Anderson is a tough guy to double up. He runs really, really well. As the right-hander has now come to a set position, has Vieira, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Anderson came out swinging, and the Vieira had come in with a heater. That ball had a little bit of backdoor run, came in on the fists of right-handed hitting Anderson. So no balls and 1 strike as the right-hander gets his sign from Martinez, and he's ready to go back to work. He checks the runners and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-1. Tim Anderson will be very tough to double up if there is any of that opportunity. Our friend Big Ray says, here's a Miller Lite. Cheers to you, Steve. Steve does like his Miller Lite, just as he likes his Milwaukee Brewers. He is a regular in our streams. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, but it is tapped foul as it is swung on by Anderson, and it's going to run the count to 1-2. Been out the pitcher here, that is for sure. Major League Baseball, over the course of his career, Tim Anderson has a couple of grand slams to his name. 5 for 16 in the tournament is the right-handed hitting second baseman of the Chicago White Sox. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it is a fastball that misses down, and the count goes even at 2-2. There's nowhere to put Anderson. He's going to have to throw him a strike here somewhere, as the bases are full of Americans here in the last half of the 3rd inning. A large Cuban contingent that populates the Miami area, but that part of the crowd is a little bit quiet right now as they find themselves behind the Americans 4-1. And here comes the offering from the right-hander. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into center field. It should be deep enough to get the run in. Tagging at 3rd and heading home is Schwarber. And he is going to score the Americans' 5th run of the ball game, and they have now a 5-1 lead. Sacrifice fly to center field for the 2nd out of the inning, an RBI given to Anderson. That will score Schwarber, and they score now 5-1 for Team USA. High fives all around in the dugout as he gets the job done. That brings up Trey Turner to the plate. Well, Turner kept his hot hitting going as he hit a solo shot back in the 2nd inning. The grand slam last night on a 0-2 pitch off of Silvano Bracco. And then tonight, hit a home run off of the starter Ronis Elias, a solo shot with 2 gone in the 2nd. He takes a fastball for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Turner. Turner began his big league career with the Nationals in Washington. He was flipped to the Dodgers, and now he has signed a massive offseason contract with Philadelphia. There's a fastball swung on it. It's tapped slowly over to 3rd. Moncada fields it. He throws on the run, and that is going to do it. It's going to retire Turner on a ground out 5-3 for out number 3. That will do it here in the 3rd inning. Well, there were 2 runs in the inning, and there was 2 hits. There were no errors, and there were 3 runners left the board. We are now through 3 complete. It is Team USA 5, Cuba 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We'll check in on some other action going on around sports in North America. Hang tight. We're glad you guys could be with us. Welcome back, everybody. It is the NCAA tournament is going on around North America, and that is the biggest thing happening on the continent outside of the Classic. There are some scores to look in on across there. Michigan State has upset Marquette 69-60. That is a final. And earlier today, it was Kansas State knocking off Kentucky 75-69. Michigan State and Kansas State will play off against one another next week. In a unpredictable game, a 9-seed Florida Atlantic is playing Fairleigh Dickinson as 15-14 with 9:38 to go in the first half. FAU in the lead. Of course, Fairleigh Dickinson knocked off Purdue and FAU knocked off Memphis. So that is a battle of a 9 and a 16 seed. There's a fastball that is missed inside to Ariel Martinez for ball one, and the count is 1-0. We're in the top of the fourth inning. I'll give you some more basketball scores a little bit later. As here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Martinez. Adam Wainwright facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters here in the top of the fourth inning. As he's ready to deliver, he kicks into the motion and fires. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Martinez for the tournament, 1 for 10 as he's 0 for 1 tonight. Wainwright rocking into the motion and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into right field. Moving over to his left and making the catch as he moves toward the foul line is Mookie Betts. Ariel Martinez is going to be retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 away, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Yadier Drake. Well, for Drake tonight, he is 1 for 1. He reached on a base hit his first time up. He had a single to lead off the second inning, but he was stranded. He's 8 for 18 in the tournament. He's batting .444, but he's facing Wainwright, who looks like he has finally started to settle in a bit. And there's a breaking ball swung on. It's tapped slowly up the middle. Turner fields it. He comes across the bag at second. He throws to first. And Yadier Drake has been retired on a ground out 6-3 for the second out of the inning. That'll leave it up to the right fielder, Youklis Guibert, to come to bat here in the fourth. So that is 4 in a row retired now by Adam Wainwright. And in fact, if it wasn't for his error in the third inning, he's retired 8 of the last 9 hitters he's faced. So here's Wainwright back to work again, and it's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. No balls and 1 strike to Guibert. He bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Wainwright, who drops a breaking ball in for a called strike, and now the count is 0-2. So not only is Wainwright working efficiently, he's working quickly now. As the right-hander rocks into the windup and delivers, it is a breaking ball that misses down. The appeal over to the third base umpire, but they say he didn't go, did Guibert. He's going to run the count to 1-2. Guibert is 3 for 15 in the tournament, as he is batting in the 9 spot, playing in right field tonight. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into center field for a base hit. Guibert has got himself a single with 2 out, and that's going to bring the top of the order, Raul Santos, to the plate. When you also look at some of the names on this Cuban roster, there is a couple of eyebrow raisers that maybe most people have forgotten about, or maybe forgot about from a few years ago. There is Yoenis Cespedes is also on this roster. He started the tournament 0 for 6, and he's not been seen or heard from in a bit. He is also on this roster. I was a little shocked to see that when the rosters did come out. As I mentioned before, there are some players that are playing domestically in Cuba, as well as other places in the globe that are littered on this Cuban roster. First time major league players have been involved. They've taken a few. As there's a fastball that misses outside for ball 1 to Santos. Santos singled and scored the Cubans' only run back in the first. And then he grounded to second in the second inning. So here's the 1-0 from Wainwright. It's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul behind home plate. And the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Top of the fourth inning here in Miami, as these two teams are going at it head-to-head. Appreciate everybody for checking in with us here tonight. As mentioned, hopefully you can join us again tomorrow for Mexico and Japan. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, but the third base umpire goes up with the right hand. It says that Santos had gone around. It's going to run the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. The third base umpire working the game tonight is Jung Chi Park, the Korean umpire. Here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right center field. Moving over is Mike Trout. He skips and makes the catch. And that is going to do it as Santos is retired for the third out of the inning. And that will do it here in inning number 4 for the Cubans. While they had no runs, there was a hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're through 3.5. It is Team USA 5 and Cuba 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments and catch up on some more of those NCAA basketball scores from around North America. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. It is Team USA 5, Cuba 1 in the top of, well, it's going now to the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. 5-1 is the scoreline as the Americans will send the top of the order up to bat here in the 4th inning. It'll be Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, and Paul Goldschmidt as they will be facing the Cubans here in their half of the bottom of the 4th inning. It is Vieira who is going to be still on the mound for the Cubans. He's the third pitcher used. He has come on in relief. We're taking a look at some of the basketball scores across the NCAA, obviously the biggest thing going on in North America right now. And we're looking at the score lines, and we'll catch you up on some of those in just a moment as we're ready to get this one back underway as Vieira delivers a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0 to Betts. Obviously, one of the biggest events is the March Madness, and the Americans. They certainly love their basketball. And there's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is now 1-1 strike. There's a right-hander heating up in the bullpen. It's another St. Louis Cardinal. It's Miles Michaelis. A lot of Cardinal flavor on this American roster, obviously with Arenado and Goldschmidt. And, of course, Adam Wainwright, the starting pitcher tonight. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is now 1-2 to Mookie Betts. Currently, Creighton has got a 9-point lead against Baylor. That game has got about 11 minutes and 44 seconds left, 58-49. The Creighton Blue Jays are taking it to Baylor. So here's the 1-2 pitch to Betts. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Florida Atlantic and Fairleigh Dickinson, 21-16 with 7:29 to play in the first. Florida Atlantic has the 5-point lead. Here's the pitch from Vieira. It's a fastball that misses down, and it runs the count full to Mookie Betts. Games that will come later tonight, Miami versus the University of Indiana and TCU and Gonzaga. We'll go head-to-head. We'll get you the finals from earlier today as we started to give you some of those in the last half inning. So here's the 3-2 pitch to Betts. As Vieira delivers, it's a fastball swung on and belted foul down the left field line. It's going to keep the count at 3-2. Finals from around the tournament today. Xavier University this morning knocked off, or in the early afternoon, knocked off Pittsburgh 84-73. Kansas State beat Kentucky 75-69 today. That game was in Greensboro. You had Michigan State beating Marquette. That game was in Columbus, Ohio, 69-60. As here's the pitch from Vieira. It's a fastball swung on by Betts. It's grounded over to short. Fielded neatly by Era Barrena. And he throws to first. That's going to retire Betts on a ground out, 6-3 for out number 1 here in the 4th inning. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Mike Trout. That other basketball game that was going on, it was UConn knocking off St. Mary's 70-55. That game was in Albany, New York. So St. Mary's quality season this year for those guys is all said and done. It'll be UConn moving on. So Mike Trout steps to the plate. He is 0 for 2 tonight. He's flown to right and flown to center. He takes a first pitch fastball at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Trout 6 for 19 in the Classic. The home run and 6 RBIs to go with it. As the right-hander Vieira delivers, and it is a fastball that misses down, and the count is even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be Paul Goldschmidt to follow, and possibly Nolan Arenado as he is in the hole. So 1-1 to Trout as the right-hander holds to the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mike Trout. Our friend Epiphany Card Collector has popped in here to say hello, and we appreciate you stopping in. Thank you for popping in here tonight, as he sends his regards to Mark and to Steve. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It is a fastball that is swung on and missed, and Mike Trout goes down swinging for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away here in the 4th inning, and that's going to leave it all up to Paul Goldschmidt. So Carlos Vieira has come into the ball game, and he has settled down after the appearance there by Miguel Romero. Romero was charged with those 2 runs in the last inning. But now he has started to settle in himself, has Vieira. So the big right-handed thrower now facing Paul Goldschmidt for the first time. Goldie is 1 for 2 tonight. He's got that 2-run homer, and he has struck out in his 2 trips. There's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Goldie. Goldschmidt waving the bat here, waiting on the offering from the right-hander Vieira, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and gets away from the catcher Martinez, and that's going to run the count to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. You appreciate everybody who listens in on YouTube and on Twitch, whether you listen live or on delay. It's great to have you with us. We do stream on Twitch. Here's the pitch. It is a changeup that misses just down and in, and that's going to go to 2-1 now on Goldschmidt. One thing I noticed about Goldschmidt last night is he does not run particularly well anymore. I watched him go first to third in that game, and when I think about it, when he was with the Diamondbacks a couple of years ago, he stole nearly 30 bases. And there is a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. The count is 2-2. Of course, he's on the wrong side of 30, so to speak. And he is not quite the fleet of foot that he once was. I remember they asked Goldschmidt in spring training a few years ago, what's the number one thing that he would work at? And he said he would work on his base running. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 3-2. And of course, when you look at first basemen who've stole north of 20 bags in the last 30 years, not too many names come up, but his name is at the top of the list. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Goldschmidt. There's 2 gone here in the 4th. Nobody on. Here comes the offering from Vieira, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that just misses inside. It's going to be ball 4. He's looking for some help over at the first base umpire, but it's Quinn Walcott, I believe, over there. And he says, no, he didn't go. That's ball 4. A 2-out walk to Goldschmidt. And that's going to bring Nolan Arenado to the plate. There's nothing worse than a 2-out walk. I hope that doesn't, if you're a Cuba, you hope that that doesn't come back to haunt you, that they're going to make you pay for it. So Nolan Arenado steps to the plate. He is 1 for 2 tonight. He singled and scored a run his last time up. He struck out back in the first inning. Goldschmidt is just behind Otani in walks in the tournament. There are 3 Japanese players, 1, 2, 3, all tied for the top spot in walks in the tournament, and Goldschmidt is next, or at least he's tied for second with 2 Japanese players. There's a fastball that misses down to Arenado, and the count is 1-0. Arenado 8 for 22 in the tournament, batting .364, but he made some sparkling defensive plays last night for the Americans against the Venezuelans. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. The count is now 1-1. He is generally regarded, Arenado, as the best defensive third baseman in the game, and that was on full display against the Venezuelans last night. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Arenado. As the righty delivers, it's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Vieira gets the baseball. He has the tug of the cap. He gets his sign from Martinez, and he's ready to go back to work. And here comes the pitch. It kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on and grounded foul just past the bag at third base. And the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As we mentioned, the next couple of days we'll be back on the airwaves again here on YouTube with all the action. Hopefully you can join us for the Japanese and the Mexicans tomorrow night. It should be an electric ball game. There's a fastball swung on this ball. Is hit in the right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. It's into the corner. Digging in after it is Guibert. Rounding third and heading home is Goldschmidt. He's going to score all the way from first base. And heading to third with a triple is Nolan Arenado. And that's going to increase the American lead to 6-1. And everything here now has happened with 2 outs. So a triple by Arenado scores the runner Goldschmidt all the way from first, who walked on the previous at-bat. And now we have a scoreline of 6-1 here in the 4th inning, and the Cubans are in some serious trouble if they want to get back into this one, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, Kyle Schwarber. Well, Schwarber officially does not have an at-bat tonight. He has walked and he's been hit by a pitch. But he did score a run his last time up, as he was able to increase the American lead to 5-1 when he crossed the plate. So 6-1 now for Team USA, and they're looking to add more. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. There is no tomorrow for the loser of this game. It's win or go home. And the Americans have got themselves in a position here to do just that. Here's the 0-1 offering. It is a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 1-1. Nice stop there by the catcher Martinez, as they do have Arenado at third base. A ball to the backstop would increase the American lead by another point. So here comes the 1-1 pitch, and it's a fastball that comes inside, and it almost hits Schwarber again. He goes down, he gets out of the way, and he hits the deck face first. He's got a little bit of a grin on his face. Oh, boy. Kyle Schwarber, human bullseye right now. Hit the last time and almost plugged again. So here's the pitch. It is a changeup that misses down. They appeal down to the third base umpire, but they say he didn't go, and that's going to run the count to 3-1 now on Schwarber. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a little bit mixed on the Classic, or the timing of the Classic. I'd like to see maybe the season every 3 years shut down in the middle, can the All-Star games, and let's just play a Classic. But make it one country only, or a single country site, as opposed to where they had the 2 of the 4 were being played in the United States, and then there was one qualifying round in Taiwan and another one in Japan. So 3 balls and 2 strikes as it is to Schwarber here, as he fouled that last pitch off. So here comes the 3-2 offering, as the right-hander Vieira kicks and delivers. It has a fastball that's skinned to the ground. It's spiked. It gets away from the catcher Martinez. It's going to be ball 4. Coming in to score is Arenado, the 7th run of the game for the Americans. Schwarber makes his way to first base, and that is a wild pitch going to be charged to Vieira. So everything is happening here with 2 outs. Martinez had no chance to stop that one. It was in the dirt, and it was inside to the left-handed hitter, and the ball scored it away, and it went all the way to the American dugout, where it was finally retrieved by the catcher Martinez. So Schwarber aboard all 3 times tonight, twice via a walk and once via a hit by pitch. We're going to have a break in the action here. There's going to be a conference on the mound here for the Cuban right-hander. It's been a steady path for their pitching coach Lazo to come in and out, and he's calling for a right-hander. He's seen enough. It's Ronald Bolanos who's coming in. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys for stepping in. Here it is. Epiphany, we appreciate you for listening in. Thanks for being here. Have a great night, Big Ray. We appreciate you as well. The Hoosiers are getting ready to play Miami. Well, hopefully you guys will enjoy the call of that. We'll be back in just a moment. We've got ourselves a break here in the action. USA 7, Cuba 1. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, Matt Hollis, and that is Another Hollis Build. Be sure to check him out after the ball game. We've got Ronald Bolanos coming on in relief. He has worked an inning and a third in the Classic, and so he is going to be the 4th pitcher used tonight by the Cubans. So Bolanos is in, and Vieira is out. Everything has all happened with 2 outs in this inning. Vieira was able to retire the first 2 hitters, Betts and Trout, on a ground out and a strikeout. And then it has gone sideways since then. And so here's the first pitch. It is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Will Smith here at the plate. He has bounced into a fielder's choice and walked in his 2 trips to the plate. Kyle Schwarber is the runner at first with the 2 outs here. As Smith waggles the bat, ready on the offering here from the right-hander Bolanos. And it is a breaking ball that catches the top part of the plate. The count now is 0-2 to Smith. I don't think Smith particularly cared for that call from John Tumpain, but if he looked at the replay, he would be able to see that it did get into that K zone. So here's the 0-2 offering as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball at 95, swung on and fouled away. And the count remains at 0-2 to Smith. Smith on the tournament is 1 for 7. His only hit was a home run. And he's got an RBI to go with it. So the Los Angeles Dodger catcher looking to get another knock here in this at bat. And here's the offering from Bolanos. It is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow right field. Moving over underneath it is Guevara, the right fielder. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to do it for the Americans in their half of the 4th inning. Well, they got a couple of runs in the inning. It was Goldschmidt with a 2-out walk, a triple by Arenado, and then a wild pitch brought Arenado home. That's how the Americans have added those 2 more runs. Your score after 4 complete, it is USA 7, Cuba 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with the call. The top of the 5th inning when we return. USA, Cuba, going to the top of the 5th. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the Cubans coming to bat here in the 5th inning. It'll be the 2, 3, 4 hitters in the batting order: Johan Moncada, Luis Robert, and Alfredo Despaigne to come to bat. And it is going to be Miles Michaelis, the other St. Louis Cardinal, who's going to be coming on to face the Cubans here. So Michaelis on in relief of Adam Wainwright. So he will be taking over here, ready to go. I'm just getting the updates on some of this stuff. And so Michaelis in. Michaelis got an opportunity to pitch against Team Canada earlier in the Classic, and he had performed pretty good. The St. Louis Cardinal pitcher, he has international experience. Obviously, he had pitched in the Japanese League for a couple of years with the Yomiuri Giants. He delivers a first pitch fastball. It's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Moncada. Michaelis has had a little bit of injury issues the last couple of seasons for the Cardinals, but he is very, very steady when he is healthy. So he is the one who is facing Johan Moncada here as he delivers a ball down. It's 1-1. Now here's the breaking ball delivered. It is driven into the right field corner. Mookie Betts is going to have to go in there after it. He fields it. He fires it in, but it's going to be a long single for Moncada, as he is aboard with a leadoff hit here in the 5th inning, and that'll bring up Luis Robert. Well, if you are the Cubans, you're going to have to lament that first inning. They loaded the bases with nobody out. It looked like they were going to have themselves a huge inning. They scored themselves that 1 run as Santos was brought home on a bases-loaded walk by Despaigne. And still having the bases loaded with a run on the board, they were not able to cash in after that. They squandered that opportunity. And it is unfortunate for them, but fortunate for the Americans that obviously they get that opportunity here. So here's the first offering to Luis Robert. It's swung on and tap foul over on the third base side, and the count is quickly 0-1. Moncada is actually in at second base with a double. We thought he was held to a single, but he had actually gone back to retrieve his helmet. So he is actually at second base with the double, and that is where we stand there. And there's a fastball swung on. It is grounded foul over on the third base side, and the count is now 0-2. When you think about it, the Cubans have a number of players playing in the Chicago White Sox organization, or have had some players in recent years that have Cuban descent. There was a time when they could roll 4 or 5 players out. They're all Cuban born, and 2 of them are right now on the field. It is Moncada at second, and the batter is Robert. As Michaelis delivers a breaking ball that's missing down, and it's stopped there neatly by Will Smith. Count is 1-2. The problem is that the Cubans, they just don't have enough major league talent on this roster, and As we said, there's only a couple of players. Some of the guys that have played in the Japanese are currently playing or have played in the Japanese league, and a lot of the domestic players. There's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is 2-2. Other ones that are not here, like where is Adolis Garcia? Where is Jorge Soler? Where is Lourdes Gurriel, or even his brother Yuli? You think of some of those other players, you got Raldis Chapman and Rasul Iglesias. Now, mind you, some of the players are maybe a little long in the tooth as a breaking ball is grounded foul down the third baseline. The count is remain at 2-2. I mean, I don't know if all of the players maybe necessarily could knock out some of the players on the roster here. But that being said, there are some names that North American, United States, and Canadian fans and Mexican fans would be aware of. And of course, you've got Randy Arozarena, who has the citizenship now to play for Mexico. There's a breaking ball that is down, and Luis Robert chased after it. And John Tumpain has rung him up for out number 1 here on strikes. Robert is done, and that's going to bring up Alfredo Despaigne to the plate. So we've got Epiphany Card Collector. He says, yeah, his White Sox are definitely represented here. Not just on the Cuban side of things, but also you've got the second baseman for the USA, and that is the shortstop for the White Sox, Tim Anderson. There's a breaking ball drops into Alfredo Despaigne for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Despaigne. Despaigne has been on base twice tonight. He walked and drove in the run in the first inning, and he reached on an error by Adam Wainwright in the third. As the fastball swung on and tapped foul over on the third base side, the count is 0-2. When I think of the Cubans or other Cubans that have played in Chicago with the White Sox, there's a couple of Garcias. There was Lurie was one. He also had Avisai Garcia. And then, as we said last year, you had Jose Abreu, who's no longer a White Sox, who has moved on to the Houston Astros. But even if you go back a few years ago, Dayan Visiedo was the first baseman before Jose Abreu took over in Chicago. As that breaking ball is swung on and tapped foul, and the count remains at 0-2 to Despaigne. So no balls and 2 strikes as Miles Michaelis works here with 1 gone and a runner on second in the top of the 5th inning. It'll be Arizabel Arozarena who waits his turn on deck. So here comes the offering from the right-hander Michaelis. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Danya is down for the second out of the inning, and that will bring up the shortstop, Arozarena. Our friend, the Epiphany Card Collector, says losing Abreu hurt. And it does hurt. I think for at least in the short term, I would anticipate that they would probably move Andrew Vaughn over to first, the White Sox. Frees up some time for Gavin Sheets to be the DH. And then, of course, with a healthy outfield of Robert and Eloy Jimenez, one would have to think that Oscar Colas is another Cuban not that far away from joining. As that fastball is swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1 to Arozarena. And there's another Cuban-born player that could be or should be or will be on this Cuban squad in the future. He was applying his trade for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks in Japan and then was signed as an international free agent by the White Sox. As that breaking ball is swung on and missed, the count is now 0-2. They referred to Oscar Colas as the Cuban Otane. He's a left-handed hitting outfielder who also sits at 95 miles an hour on the left side. Pretty impressive stuff. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Arozarena. Should he reach base, it'll be Andy Ibanez who waits his turn on deck. But 7-1, the U.S. has the lead here in the top of the 5th inning. And they are very comfortable right now in this one. As Michaelis works to the set position, he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and it's going to reach the seats down the first base line, and that's going to keep the count at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. And as we mentioned earlier before, we will be back on again tomorrow as we will be calling a game between Mexico and Japan. So hopefully bookmark us and we will be back on again. And then, of course, Tuesday, the final, which will be the winner of this game, will take on the winner of Mexico-Japan. There's a fastball that misses upstairs to Arabirania, and the count is now 2-2. We'll have all the action for you in this one and more. So Ibanez is waiting his turn. As the right-hander, Michaelis holds set to the belt, and he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on, is grounded through the 6-hole into left field, and they're going to stop the runner heading from second to third. They're going to hold up Johan Moncada, and that is a single. They now have runners on the corners to the Cubans, so they are not out of this yet, and that's going to bring Andy Ibanez to the plate. Ibanez tonight is officially 0 for 2, a pop out to second and a fly out to center as he strides to the dish, ready to face Miles Michaelis for the first time tonight. It was a fairly decent throw by a left fielder, which would be Kyle Schwarber to the plate. Wasn't right on the dot, but it was up the third baseline, but it was right on the line. Smith had to field it about maybe 10 or 15 feet ahead of the home plate area. First pitch delivered to Ibanez is a breaking ball that misses up and away for ball one, and the count is 1-0. So Ibanez here hitting with runners on the corners and 2 out. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. In 2022, Ibanez had played with the Texas Ranger organization. He hit .218 with a homer and 9 RBIs. He bats with a closed stance, reminiscent of a former Texas Ranger, Adrian Beltre, and he swings at that one, and he grounds it up the middle past a diving shortstop, Trey Turner, and that's going to get the second run into the game for the Cubans. Johan Moncada comes in to score to make the scoreline 7-2. Rizabel Arabirania is going to stop at second, and Ibanez has got himself an RBI single. And the score line is now the United States 7, Cuba 2. That is going to bring Ariel Martinez to the plate. So very interesting development here as they've got their run in and they're still threatening are the Cubans. So 7-2 the score line in the top of the 5th inning. And they're looking for some instant offense as the right-handed hitting catcher steps up to the plate. On the tournament, Martinez is 1 for 11, 0 for 2 here tonight. And here's the pitch from Michaelis, and it is a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. 7-2 is the score. We got Josh S. in the house here, and he says that losing Abreu definitely sucked, but we needed to do the right thing. Let's bring Andrew Vaughn in there too. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-1. Certainly Andrew Vaughn, who did not perform very well in his first year in the big leagues. He had what I would call a breakout year last year. And I would think that he's going to take another step in the White Sox uniform this year. There's a fastball swung on, that's fouled way down the right field line, and now it goes to 1-2 on Martinez. We thank Josh S. for stopping in tonight. He is a resident of the Chicago area and also follows his Chicago sports teams and joins us frequently, and we appreciate Josh for being with us. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Martinez as Michaelis holds set at the belt, and he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and Martinez is down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning, but the Cubans are able to get a run back. They had a run as Johan Moncada has scored the 2nd run of the game for Cuba. There was 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 4.5 innings. We are halftime now, I guess, so to speak, for baseball. And your score is 7-2 for USA over Cuba. Hang tight, guys. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We're really enjoying this being here, and we'll give you a highlight, or a couple of highlights that we saw yesterday from Team USA. We'll be right back, everybody. 7-2 is your scoreline. USA has the lead over Cuba in this one. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom half of the fifth inning. It's the bottom third of the batting order to come to bat for Team USA. Pete Alonso, Tim Anderson, and Trey Turner to face the right-hander, Ronald Bolanos, who came on in relief in the last half inning in replacement of Carlos Vieira. So Alonso, Anderson, and Turner to get things going here in the bottom half of the inning. As we get things rolling here, and here's the first pitch to Pete Alonso, and it is a fastball that has come inside, and they say it has hit him, and that is going to put Alonso to first base. Boy, if it did hit him, it looked like it grazed him. If you want to get hit by a pitch, that's the one to get hit by. So Alonso is going to make his way down to first base, and that is going to bring up the second baseman, Tim Anderson. That is tonight by my books. I know that Schwarber has been hit by the pitch, and that, of course, is Alonso now next. So two batters tonight hit by pitches. Last night it was the how do I say it? The catcher JT Realmuto got plunked pretty good last night to load the bases right before Trey Turner hit his home run. So Tim Anderson here is not going to be batting. It's going to be a pinch hitter. They're going to have the flying squirrel come to bat. So we're going to see Jeff McNeil joining the fray. So Jeff McNeil is in, and the White Sox Anderson is now no longer in the ballgame. The first pitch to McNeil was a fastball that missed outside for ball one, and the count is 1-0. And Bolanos delivers another fastball that misses up in the way, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Well, McNeil, he had a couple of starts earlier in the tournament, and he struggled a little bit. But now he is joining the fray. We'll see how he responds here. Interesting that Tim Anderson is no longer going to be in the ballgame. And you have to wonder if that's more for defensive purposes, as the pitch is a breaking ball that misses down, and now the count is 3-0. So 4 pitches in the inning, and Bolanos has hit Alonso and thrown 3 straight balls to Jeff McNeil. And then Trey Turner is waiting on deck. And here comes the offering from Bolanos, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside. It's going to be ball 4. And McNeil is going to be aboard with a walk, and that's going to put runners at first and second. That'll bring up Trey Turner to the plate. There is action in the Cuban bullpen, as there are 2 right-handers up and throwing. Curious to see how this ends up panning out for USA here. They're got 2 runners on and nobody out. Turner at the plate. Cuba gets one back. Are the Americans going to respond here in the inning? So holding set is Bolanos. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. It handcuffed Ariel Martinez back there. He was a pitch that was middle in, and he ended up flipping his glove over. I think he thought it was going to die a little bit, but instead it was a tough one. He had to flip the hand down, almost got away on him. So 1 ball and no strikes. So that's 6 balls in a row. If you include the hit by pitch as a ball, there's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. That's the first strike that Bolanos has thrown in this inning. So the count is now 1-1. As I said, there's no tomorrow for Cuba if they lose this one. They're going to have to find a way to get back in it offensively, and more importantly, they're going to have to find a way to keep the Americans off the board. Trea Turner is a tough one to double up. And here comes the offering from the right-hander who kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-1 to Turner. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Appreciate those who are new to the channel, who have subscribed or have jumped in with us tonight. We really thank everybody for listening in. As we say, we'll be back with the other 2 games of the Classic, but then we're going to be resuming some NPB exhibition action later in the week. And we will be on the call for the start of the NPB season, which is going to be a week from Thursday. And for those of you on North American time, that means it's going to be in the middle of the night. It'll be at 2:30 a.m. Pacific, 5:30 Eastern, call of the season opener between the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. There's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is 3-1. Our friend Troy says, almost time for the MLB. Yes, it is. We've got a friend of ours up here working some camps with us this week and last week. And there is a fastball that is swung on and tapped foul, and it's going to be 3-2. Former Oakland athletic outfielder Eric Fox in the house, working the camps with us as we're doing the stuff for the young kids and the youngsters in this area. 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. So Trea Turner here hitting with Alonso at second and Jeff McNeil at first. The bases are full of Mets. And here's the pitch from Bolanos. It's a fastball swung on. It is off the fist. It's going to get looped over the head of the second baseman into right field. It's going to get down. They're going to stop Alonso over at third. And that is going to load the bases, and it doesn't get any easier as Mookie Betts is striding to the plate. So bases are full of Americans yet again. Alonso at third, McNeil at second. The runner at first is Turner. And then you've got Betts, Trout, and Goldschmidt all slated to come up here. One would have to think the Cubans are in deep trouble now. So Mookie Betts on the evening is 2 for 3. He's got a double. He scored a run. He's also singled and grounded to short. Bolanos gets himself a new baseball. He's rubbing it up, and looks like Lazo is on his way to the mound. It's been very interesting when he makes the call to the bullpen. He gets to the top of the mound, and he makes the signal. It's almost like he's waving in disgust, although I have to say not so much this time to his right-hander Bolanos, who is leaving the ball game. Well, that is going to do it. We are going to have a pitching change, and we'll be back here in just a couple moments, everybody. We appreciate you guys for being here with us. It is a 7-2 scoreline for the USA. It's in the bottom of the 5th inning, and this game looks like it is ready to be blown open as the bases are loaded. We'll come back as Mookie Betts and Mike Trout will be coming to bat. Hang tight. Glad you're with us. For those of you who don't know, our friend Steve Rademacher is a friend of our channels. Be sure to check him out after the ball game. He's entertaining, and he is eclectic. If you have anything that is weird, go check out Steve. He's a great person, and he's a pretty cool individual to have to listen to. Here he is. Here's Steve Rademacher.
Hey, guys, and thank you, Freddie. Steve coming back at you. That's right, Steve Rademacher. I would like to thank each and every one of you that is tuned into my channel. And today, let's do a little shout out for some other great channels you should be watching. There is WVlogs 18. There's Big D's Sports and Collectibles. You all know another Hollis build. Why not Like Father, Like Son? That's a great duo that does some great stuff. It shows some great cards. And of course, the one and only Bud Stoney, creators of One of Ones, the creator of One of Ones, and they're all signed on the back. Bud Stoney, One of One, like this beautiful Robin Yount that he made for me. He made me another Robin Yount, this time mini, and a Christian Yelich mini. Great cards, and he does more than cards. We have darts of Hulk Hogan and many other things. So give them a look-see and give me another look-see. Subscribers are always welcome, and back to Freddie.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate you and your support of the channel, and in turn, we support Steve Rademacher. It is going to be Elian Leva who is into the ball game, as he is going to be taking over here to face Mookie Betts in the last half of the fifth inning. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside to Betts. The count is quickly 1-0. It's been a problem for the Cubans here tonight to throw strikes, as they have not been throwing enough of them. And it is Leva who is here. He is ready to come into pitch now. And so here's the 1-0 offering to Betts. It is a fastball swung on this ball, line to the shortstop. A nice catch there by the shortstop, Aro Barrena, as he had to range to his right. And he picks that ball off his shoe tops. And so that is going to retire Mookie Betts on a line drive out to the shortstop for out number one. Interesting, as the hitting coach for Team USA is Ken Griffey Jr. And he's not a young man anymore, and they were laughing about it. They were showing some highlights of him taking some batting practice with Team USA, and he was hitting balls out in BP. So pretty cool to see old guy still being able to hit balls out of the park. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Mike Trout. Trout tonight is 0 for 3. He has struck out. He's lined to right and flown to center. He is now 6 for 20 in the Classic. As he's waiting here on the offering from the right-hander who delivers, it is a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 0-2. So Leva has come in here and he is starting to throw strikes. That's exactly what the Cuban doctor has ordered if they want to keep in this one. So the Americans have the bases loaded with nobody out. Mookie Betts hit a line drive to the shortstop, and now Mike Trout here in the hole at 0-2. And the right-hander kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball taken for a called third strike. And that is going to do it for Trout. He's called out looking, and he's gone for out number 2, and that's going to leave it all up to Paul Goldschmidt. Well, for Goldie, he is officially 1 for 2 tonight. He is homered and knocked a pair of runs in. He's also struck out and walked. He has scored a pair of runs for himself. So it will be Paul Goldschmidt striding to the dish here. 1 for 2 officially in the book, and 6 for 18 in the tournament. So here comes the first offering from the right-hander Leva. As he holds set and kicks and delivers, it's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Well, looks like they've finally got somebody to throw some consistent strikes to the Cubans. So no balls and 1 strike it is to Goldschmidt. Goldie waggles the bat, waiting here on the 0-1 offering as the right-hander works from the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right field. It's going to be a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes the throw to the plate, and it is going to be offline and sliding in head first and scoring the second run on that base hit is going to be Jeff McNeil. So that's going to increase the American lead to 9-2. So Paul Goldschmidt in the clutch, an RBI single or a 2-run single, bringing in Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil to increase the scoreline to 9-2 for Team USA. Trey Turner goes all the way around to third on that base hit. And that is going to bring up the other St. Louis Cardinal in Nolan Arenado. I got to say, the Americans tonight, there's just so much firepower in this order. If you don't get through, if you get through one or two guys, there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other guys in this order just looming on deck, all stars on their team, ready to do damage against you as well. And that is exactly what happened there. So now we've got Nolan Arenado at the plate. And it is a breaking ball that is swung on and fouled away. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Arenado. Arenado will be followed by Kyle Schwarber should he get on. Arenado 2 for 3 tonight. He's got a single and a triple. He's also knocked in a run. He scored a pair. So 2 for 3 on the books for Nolan Arenado. As the right-hander delivers, it's a fastball swung through and missed, and the count is now 0-2. The Cubans have not been able to retire the Americans in order at all this evening. They had an opportunity in the fourth inning. They retired the first 2 batters in the inning, and then the wheels fell off. They did the same thing in the second inning, retired the first 2 hitters, and then Trey Turner hit a home run, and there's a fastball that the batter Arenado checks his swing on, but it's hit his hand. He's walking around grimacing as he's flexing his fingers. I think he thinks he's going to first base. I don't know if he is or not because it looked like he tried to take a swing. He did swing, and the ball did hit his hand. So I don't know how they're going to rule this one or not. They may get a visit from the Cubans. It looked like it hit him on the top of his right hand. He's squeezing it as he's walking around. Let's see what's going to happen here. The trainer has come out to look at his hand. I'm just waiting to see if they're going to award him first base or not. I don't think it was, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is going to be a hit batter, and he's going to leave the ball game. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to come in and replace him. So very much similar to yesterday when Jose Altuve was plunked and had to leave the game. Well, so too is Nolan Arenado. The good news is he's given fist bumps on the way back, but it may be a bag of ice is what he's going to need. It's on his throwing hand. He has been hit. That's the third American batter hit by Cuban pitchers tonight. As we said, 2 of them here, or at least the one to Pete Alonso, wasn't exactly earth-shattering. So Nolan Arenado out of the game. Bobby Witt Jr. now in, and so one superstar leaves and another one in the ball game. But the umpires are going to get together and they're going to talk about this right now because they want to go upstairs as the play is under review. And maybe they are going to bring the batter, or maybe they bring Bobby Witt Jr. back to finish the at-bat, but we're going to see in a second here, Joe. So it is the umpiring crew that is up on the phone. As we said earlier tonight, it's Lance Barksdale who is on the phone or on the telecommunications, as John Tumpane is the plate umpire. It is Quinn Walcott who is the first base umpire in this one. So 3 major league umpires, 1 at the plate, 1 at first, and 1 at second. Jung Chu Park is the third base umpire, and that is Ramiro Alfaro on the left field line and Edward Pinellas on the right field line. As they have a 6-man crew in this one. Let's see what the decision is going to be, and they've come up with the decision. And they've awarded him first base. Well, okay. Well, that's going to bring up Kyle Schwarber to the plate, and the bases are full of Americans as the scoreline is 9-2 for the USA. As we had that break in that action here. 9-2 USA. Schwarber striding to the plate. The Americans need to get a couple more runs here, and this game starts to become in jeopardy for Cuba, whether it is going to go the full 9 or not. It could be a mercy after 5 if they have a 15-run lead, if it's 10-7. And here's the first pitch to Schwarber. He swings at a changeup and misses, and the count is 0-1. Schwarber swung through that one. So no balls and 1 strike to Kyle Schwarber. As the right-hander holds at the chest and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Schwarber. Bases full of Americans. They do have a bit of a shift on here for Schwarber as they've moved their shortstop to the right of second base. There's a changeup swung on it, missed, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Schwarber looking to clear the bases with 1 swing of the bat. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Right-hander Leva ready to pitch, and there's a breaking ball swung on it. It's tapped back to the pitcher. He fields it, and he flips a lollipop over to first base. It's caught by Yadir Drake, but that's going to end the inning. It's going to go down as a ground out 1-3, and that will do it here for the out number 3 of the inning. But more damage done by the Americans. They scored 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there were 3 runners left aboard. We are now through 5 complete. It is Team USA 9, Cuba 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the 6th inning in just a couple moments. We're glad you guys could bounce in here with us tonight. For those of you stuck around and are not watching some of the basketball games, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat for Cuba here in the top of the 6th inning. That means Yadir Drake, Yolkis Guibert, and Roel Santos, 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order. We're looking ahead, as we said, tomorrow night. It is going to be the Cubans against the Japanese, and we'll be back on the YouTube airwaves at the same time for the call of this one. So hopefully everybody can join us again as well, as we're excited to be on the call on the stream again for that. It'll be Roki Sasaki taking to the hill tomorrow night for the Japanese. The young, hard-throwing right-hander will be on the hill, and he is going to be going up against Los Angeles Angel lefty Patrick Sandoval. As we're back to the action here, the first pitch is delivered. It is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Yadir Drake, and there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count runs even at 1s. So Patrick Sandoval announced for the Mexicans as he will take to the hill for the Angels, or for the Mexicans as he is a Los Angeles Angel pitcher, and there's a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly to short, fielded by Turner. He throws to first, and Drake is retired for the first out of the inning. It goes as a ground out 6-3 for out number 1. Just some news and notes on Patrick Sandoval. He was 6-9 in the regular season last year. Made 27 starts for the Angels. He had an ERA of 2.91, and he had 148 2/3 innings pitched. So he will take to the hill for Team Mexico tomorrow night. We'll be looking forward to bringing you that one. And here's the first pitch delivered to Yolkis Guibert, and it's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Guibert tonight is 1 for 2. He's got a single and 2 trips, 4 for 16 on the tournament, and he takes a breaking ball that catches the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. As Michaelis goes back to work, he delivers. There's a breaking ball that's down in the dirt. It's going to run the count to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As we mentioned, it's been lots of fun for us as we've enjoyed doing these last few games of the Classic. Gearing up, this is kind of our exhibition season as we're looking ahead for the new season, both in Major League Baseball and the NPB. We'll be calling the NPB games late night. So if you like to stay up late, come and join us as a breaking ball misses outside. Michaelis back to work again. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded slowly over to third, and it is fielded by Bobby Witt Jr. on the run. He fires to first. It's not in time. Bobby Witt Jr. was moved into the 6 hole, so he wasn't really playing a shortstop position, but he was kind of deep enough. He had to really charge the ball to come and get it. And the throw to first was not in time. It's going to be recorded as an infield single by Guibert. And so he is on for the second time tonight. That's going to bring up the top of the order, Raul Santos. So the festive crowd that the Cubans will bring, or the Cuban community will bring, has really quieted down as the Americans have flexed their muscle here. And there's a first pitch fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1 to Santos. What I wouldn't mind seeing, or would enjoy seeing, would be one of the American teams to go down and do their spring training in Cuba. I remember a number of years ago, the Los Angeles Dodgers used to do that back in, I believe, the 50s. They would take spring training in Havana and go have their training camps there and so on and so forth, or at least spend a couple of weeks there. I wonder when that will kind of warm over, or the thawing or the freeze will kind of end, and maybe that would be something that would be interesting to do. Who will be the American team to make that plunge to do it? As the breaking ball is swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2, and maybe even play your spring training games against some of the Cuban teams. That would be very interesting. So no 1 ball and 2 strikes it is to Santos. Michaelis delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is belted to straightaway center field. Backing up is Trout. He's underneath it. He makes the catch, and that's going to retire Santos for out number 2. So 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to the third baseman, Yoan Moncada. So as we mentioned last year, it was the Oryx Buffaloes who Sasaki had no hit. Of course, the Buffaloes later became the champions. It wasn't just a no-hitter, it was a perfect game. And he is going to be the one who is going to be pitching tomorrow night for Team Japan against Mexico. So that ought to be very, very good. Some people say he's the best arm outside of North America. As the fastball is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Well, as I said, Trevor Bauer might have something to say about that. He's going to go over and play for the Yokohama Dana Bay Stars. It's hard to deny Bauer's on-field abilities. And Roki Sasaki has not done anything against major league batters yet, but it is going to be coming, and it's going to be coming soon, as that fastball just misses inside, and the count is 1-1. Another pitcher for the Japanese to keep your eye on is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I don't think he is going to be pitching unless he comes out of the bullpen, because one would have to think Ohtani is probably going to be throwing the game on Tuesday as the fastball is swung on and fouled away. At least that would be in my mind. I know Ohtani pitched against the Italians in Japan last week. But he certainly had enough rest, as the game will go on Tuesday, that if they have to throw Ohtani, he should be available. If not, then maybe we will see Yamamoto. Yamamoto is a diminutive right-hander, and we've got a delay in the action, and so usually what that entails is that we have a field invader, or a pitch invader, as they would say over in Europe. And so we wait while this is going to be disrupted up. They don't usually give the person their due when they run onto the field. There's probably obviously some political ramifications in this one, as we have people that are protesting or saying their stuff. So I guess if you want to see it, go check out YouTube or Twitter a little bit later, and somebody will have it posted, I'm sure. So the count is no balls and 2 strikes to Yoan Moncada. There's 2 gone here with the runner at first being Guibert. As we wait, Mookie Betts has decided to take a seat cross-legged in the outfield while he's waiting for the entertainment to end. That's all I can tell you about right now as we have this unnecessary delay. I can tell you this much: if you want to stop that, don't just arrest the person and throw them in jail. Maybe send them to Guantanamo Bay for a holiday, and it's not quite the holiday. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, or sorry, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Moncada. Looks like we're almost ready to resume the action here as they have removed the invader from the field. We're ready to resume that here as the pro-Cuban crowd, well, they still are waiting as, again, there's some more stuff going on as they pan the crowd here. It does look like they have taken care of all that stuff, and so now we're ready to go again. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Moncada. He's waiting here. He's got a couple of hits in tonight's ball game and 3 trips, a single and a double. There's the pitch from Michaelis. It's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-2. And that's got to kind of suck for Michaelis as well, or, whether it be the American or the Cuban pitcher, that here you've got the guy in the hole, you've got the feel for the pitch and everything else, and then you've got this unnecessary delay, and now you've got to get back into your groove. Here's the 2-2. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into left field. It's going to hold up enough, and making the catch is Schwarber on the run, and that will do it as Moncada is retired for the 3rd out of the inning. Well, they got no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is Team USA 9, Cuba 2. Thank you guys for listening in tonight, and we appreciate y'all for being here. Here is some more of our musical in-between inning stuff.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. That is Matt Hollis and another Hollis build, and he is a supporter of our channel, and we like to support Matt in his endeavors. Be sure to check him out after the ball game. As we move to the bottom of the 6th inning, it is going to be Will Smith, Pete Alonso, and Jeff McNeil to come to bat. As that is going to be Lorenzo Quintana is going to take over for Ariel Martinez behind the plate. We'll have to see where he fits in the batting order, as they have the right-hander still in the ball game, and that is Elian Leyva, who's back out to come to work. He was successful in the last inning as he was out throwing strikes. And here's the first pitch to Will Smith. That is a breaking ball swung on and tap foul over on the 3rd baseline. The count is quickly 0-1. Will Smith in the ball game tonight, 0 for 2. He bounced into a fielder's choice. He's flown out to right, and he has walked. He is 1 for 8 on the tournament. His only hit was the home run. So here comes the offering from the right-hander Leyva. It is a fastball swung on. It is lined into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. He is digging hard around first, heading for second, and he's going to get into second base with a stand-up double. So Will Smith is aboard. He is there on second. So here we go. Here comes the designated hitter, Pete Alonso. As Pete Alonso is coming to the bat, he was hit by a pitch his last time up. He's also singled and flown out to center, so officially 1 for 2 tonight. So 2 for 12 in the tournament. He started the tournament at 0 for 9. He had a base hit. It was a bleeder to right field, but that sometimes is what breaks the ice and gets things going. There's a breaking ball that misses down. Appeal over to Quinn Walcott at first base, but they say that he didn't go when the count is 1-0 to Alonso. So 1 ball and no strikes. The polar bear has a closed stance as he waits here on the offering from the right-hander Leva. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded foul just past the bag at third base. That's going to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Pete Alonso is a major run producer for the New York Mets. I would have to think in baseball that Pete Alonso's got to be the guy, in my opinion, that's going to be up for a contract. And he's got to be due for a contract in the next year or so, or next couple of years. I would think that he could be another big-time contract. If the Mets do well this year, and he's a big part of it, he's going to be knocking on the door for a payday. So Alonso waggling the bat. His pocket is out of his pants on the left side. Just sort of hanging out there. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded over to short. Retreating back to second is Will Smith, the base runner. They throw to first. It's going to retire Alonso on a ground out 6-3. He is gone for out number 1. That is going to bring up the second baseman, Jeff McNeil. So we got back-to-back New York Mets in the batting order now that Tim Anderson has left the ball game. And McNeil will stride to the plate. McNeil came in as a pinch hitter in the 5th inning. He walked and came around and scored the run. It was the Americans' 9th run of the game, as he was brought home on a Paul Goldschmidt single. So he really chokes up on the bat, does McNeil. He waggles it, and here's the pitch. It is a changeup that misses down for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. I'm often curious to see how the Japanese players, or specifically the Japanese pitchers, will do against the North American hitters. They don't throw a lot of changeups. It's a fastball, breaking ball, split finger type of league. You don't see a lot of guys with changeups over there per se. And certainly the one thing you see in North America are the changeups. There's a changeup there that misses up and away to McNeil, and the count is 2-0. American hitters will often get out in front of the pitches, or they get onto their front side. But it's the split finger pitches that get them chasing. So curious to see how he's going to fare specifically against the Mexican hitters tomorrow night. And then if the Japanese can get through Mexico, it'll be a battle on Tuesday between Japan and the United States. That would be an entertaining affair, as the fastball to McNeil misses up and away, and the count's 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes to Jeff McNeil as time has been called again. The second base umpire, Lance Barksdale, has issued the time call, and now we're ready to resume the action. 3 balls and no strikes to McNeil. Leva leans in, and he gets his sign from the catcher Quintana, who's taken over this inning from Ariel Martinez, who was working behind the plate. As he kicks and delivers, it is a changeup that misses upstairs, and that's going to be ball 4. Jeff McNeil has drawn himself a walk. That's going to put runners at first and second, and it's going to bring Trey Turner to the plate. So Turner tonight is 2 for 3. He's got a homer and a single in 3 trips. He is 6 for 17 on the tournament. Home run tonight is his 3rd of the tournament. Pretty impressive stuff for Trey Turner, that's for sure. So right-hander against the right-hander. Leva gets the sign from Quintana, and he works set. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Mookie Betts will follow here if Trey Turner keeps himself out of a double play. So here comes the offering now from Leyva. He kicks and he fires. It is a changeup that is swung on and missed. The count is now no balls and 2 strikes. I will have to say this about the Cuban catcher, the starting catcher, Ariel Martinez. I haven't seen enough of Martinez. We do a lot of the Japanese stuff, but we have shied away from games from the Central League. We do some games from time to time, but nothing too much. We look at the Pacific League a lot more. And one of the things that I find is that when I watch the hitters or I watch the players, I see certain things and pick it up. Well, one thing tonight about Ariel Martinez, I'm not sure if I really like the way that he receives the ball. There's a changeup that misses down, and the count is 1-2. I think his glove work needs some work. It's fairly raw. And the other piece to that is his approach at the plate wasn't very good tonight. Now, with that being said, Martinez did burst on the Japanese scene a couple of years ago as when he, for a couple of reasons, as the right-hander now kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field. Moving back on the warning track and looking up, and this one is gone. A home run. Trey Turner has just hit his second home run of the ball game, his 4th of the Classic, a 3-run shot. And the Americans have increased their lead to 12-2 here in the 6th inning. If they can shut the Cubans down in the next half, then this game will be over after 7. Home run for Trey Turner of a 3-run variety. Scoring ahead of him has been Will Smith and Jeff McNeil. And now the Americans have a 12-2 lead here against Cuba in the semifinal number 1. And that'll bring Mookie Betts to the plate. High fives all around for the star of the Philadelphia Phillies now, Trey Turner. Just to finish my thought a little bit on Ariel Martinez, as I was thinking about him, Ariel Martinez, when he caught for the Chinichi Dragons, they said it was the first time in over 20 years an import catcher had played in the Japanese league. And part of that is the Japanese, that's one of the positions they can seem to develop pretty good are catchers. And anyways, Martinez had burst in onto the scene there. You don't usually see imports behind the plate, but that's exactly what it was there. And we're going to have a pitching change here. So we're going to take just a moment here. I'll come back and finish the rest of that story. It is 12-2 for the USA over Cuba. We'll be back in just a few. USA is putting it to the Cubans here tonight in Miami. We'll be right back after this. Twelve-two as we are in the bottom of the 6th inning on that 3-run homer by Trey Turner. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this musical break as we will continue on here with the bottom half of the 6th inning. Pitching change underway. 'Welcome back, everybody. The Cubans have gone to the bullpen yet again. The pitching parade continues. It's going to be Frank Alvarez coming in to replace Elian Levi, and he is going to be facing Mookie Betts. Alvarez worked a couple innings versus Panama in the pool play. He did not allow a hit or a run. He had struck out 3 and walked 1. So he is on in relief. Here is the right-hander to face Mookie Betts, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses inside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. For Mookie Betts tonight, he is 2 for 4. He's got a single and a double. He's grounded to short and is lined to short. So 7 for 25 on the series. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Cubans have had a hard time throwing strikes, and when they have had thrown strikes, the Americans have hit the ball around the yard. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball's lashed into left field for a base hit. Mookie Betts is going to round first, but he's going to hold himself to a long single as the left fielder, Raul Santos, is going to get that one back into the infield. So that's the third hit of the ball game for Mookie. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Mike Trout. So for Frank Alvarez, this is the 6th pitcher used by Cuba here tonight, and we're in the 6th inning. So that is where we stand, and that is how this one has gone. And the first pitch there to Trout is a fastball that just misses inside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So Frank Alvarez on in relief of Elian Leva. You know, you look into that Cuban team, and not anywhere there is there a El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, or even a Levon Hernandez. And the big stars, some of the big stars that they do have are not playing. Obviously, Aroldis Chapman a little long in the tooth. Raciel Iglesias, who I consider to be an under-the-radar star, the closer for the Braves, as that pitch is fouled away. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Trout. Trout tonight is 0 for 4. He has lined to right. He's flown to center. He's struck out both looking and swinging. As he holds at the belt and he kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. 12-2, USA has the lead over Cuba here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Trout looking to get in on the action. He hasn't done anything yet. Here's the breaking ball. This is swung on. It is lined down the right field line. It's into the corner. It's going to be trouble. And it's going to be extra bases. He's rounding first, heading to second. Mookie Betts rounding second, headed to third. He's rounding third and heading home. He's going to score easily. And Mike Trout has got himself a 2-out double and an RBI. It's his first hit of the ball game. So Mike Trout has delivered here. Mookie Betts has scored all the way from first, and the Americans have increased their lead to 13-2. The ball was sliced down the right field line into the corner. The right fielder, Guibert, had to go in and get it as it had hit and stuck. So Trout getting some high fives in the dugout and a hug from Ken Griffey Jr. I guess we could still call him Junior. He's still the kid. He looks like he's had a few extra meals, though, after his playing career has been done, as there's a fastball that catches the inside corner for a called strike to Paul Goldschmidt. The count's 0-1. Goldschmidt tonight is 2 for 3. He's got a single, a home run. He's also walked, and he has struck out. We do have a pinch runner in the game for Trout as Cedric Mullins has come into the game to run for him, and there's a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up behind second base. Camping out underneath it is the second baseman, Andy Ibanez. He's going to make the catch, and Goldschmidt is going to be retired for out number 2. That's going to leave it all up to Bobby Witt Jr. This will be Bobby Witt Jr.'s first at bat, as he came on to pinch run for Nolan Arenado, who was hit by a pitch very similar to that of Jose Altuve last night, although I would have to say it's not going to be a broken thumb. But he is taken out for precautionary reasons, and we'll have to see how much swelling. He did get hit on the top hand, the throwing hand, as that first pitch is taken for a ball, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Bobby Witt Jr., and there's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is now even at 1-1. It would be unfortunate for Team USA if they lost Nolan Arenado for the championship game. Defensively, he has put on a show in the Classic, and it underscores why he is considered to be the best third baseman in the game. And there's a breaking ball that misses outside to Bobby Witt Jr., and the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Should Witt get on, it'll be Kyle Schwarber here to follow. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball at the knees for a called strike, and the count is now 2-2. The Cubans will be down to their final crack here. I don't know if we've had any semifinal games that have been mercied before. Be one for the record books in the Classic. Has there been a World Baseball Classic mercy in a semifinal? There's a breaking ball that gets away from the catcher Quintana all the way to the backstop, and Cedric Mullins is going to advance on a wild pitch. Let's see another wild pitch delivered by the Cuban pitching staff here tonight. So Bobby Witt Jr. at the dish here, waggling the bat, waiting on the offering from the right-hander Alvarez, who holds set and delivers. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2 strikes. As we said, just as a reminder, we'll be back again on the airwaves tomorrow, as we've been saying throughout the night, but we're also going to be doing the action check-in later in the week, as we'll have a Friday night NPB game on the docket, which will be a Saturday Japan time. Also a look at doing a Thursday game as well. I think there's a earlier slate game on Thursday, and of course the Sunday game, which will be Saturday evening. So we've got some games that we can give to you, exhibition games, but it all gets going for real a week from next Friday. And there's a breaking ball down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say Bobby Witt didn't go. That's going to be ball 4, as Witt is going to be aboard. That's going to put runners on the corners with 2 gone, and it's going to bring Kyle Schwarber to the plate. So the Americans are batting around now. This is the 9th batter to come to the plate here in the 6th inning. So the good news for Team USA is their bullpen is going to be well rested going into that championship game on Tuesday, as it pretty much all looks, unless a miracle happens. I don't see Cuba coming back in this one. There's a fastball that misses down to Kyle Schwarber, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. So a well-rested American bullpen going into that. I was really impressed with Ryan Presley. I've seen Presley pitch before for Houston. He came on last night, and he was as calm and cool as you could be. There's a fastball that misses inside. The count's now 2-0 to Schwarber. I have to say that last pitch was a borderline pitch, but reality of it is when you've not been around the zone, you're not going to get those calls. So here we are. Here's the 2-0 offering now to Kyle Schwarber. And there's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up here in the left side. It's shallow left field. Coming in on it, and is the left fielder Santos. Moving back on it is Yohan Moncada, and they collide. Santos is going to make the grab, and Moncada is down in the fetal position, and he's holding his head. And boy, oh boy, that didn't look really good. We'll have to get an update on that when we come back. But that is going to end the inning here. And the Americans, in their half of the inning, they got 4 runs in the inning, and they did it on the benefit of 4 hits. The big blow coming on the 3-run homer by Trey Turner. There were no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 6 complete. Your score is the USA 13, Cuba 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back for the top of the 7th. And most likely we'll wrap it up after this and call it a night. But unless something happens crazy for the Cubans. I'll be right back in just a couple. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be moving to the top half of the seventh inning, and coming to bat for the Cubans will be Luis Robert, Alfredo de Spania, and Erizabel Arrobarena. Yohan Moncada walked off under his own power to end that last half inning. He was coming back to have to field the ball. It was the left fielder Santos was going to call him off, and he ended up colliding with him. As we have a look at the replay, it looked like it was really sure what hit Moncada. Look the body parts as we see it. He went down holding his head. It didn't almost look like he had hit him or not, but he's got the towel on in the dugout. They've got the smelling salts out, and he's getting a drink of water and interested to see if he's maybe been concussed or not. But it looked like a fairly innocent play. He's more ticked off than anything else. So Yohan Moncada getting the cobwebs out. So Luis Robert here to face Miles Michaelis, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on it, breaks the bat. The bat goes further than the ball. Fielded by Bobby Witt at third. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Robert on a ground out 5-3 for out number one. So one up and one away, and that'll bring up, or it's slated to bring up, the designated hitter, Alfredo de Spania. Be surprised if they're not emptying the benches to maybe get some other guys in here, but it is going to be de Spania coming up there. 13-2, the Americans have the lead. They've scored a run in every single inning. 13-1 for the USA, 2-9-0 for Cuba. There's a fastball that misses inside. The count is 1-0 to de Spania. The big fella has driven in one of the runs on a bases-loaded walk. He is officially 0 for 2 in the books. There is a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly to short. Turner fields it. He fires across the diamond. De Spania has been retired on a ground out. 6-3 for out number two. So 2 quick outs here. And that is going to bring the shortstop, Erizabel Arrobarena, to the plate. Flash a stat on the Alfredo de Spania's hitting. Over 1,200 hits in the Cuban League. He had over 700 hits in the Japanese League. There's a first pitch fastball swung on. This ball is lifted down the right field line, and it's going to drop just in front of Mookie Betts. Arrobarena is going to get himself his second hit of the ball game. He's got himself a single here, and that's going to leave it up to Andy Ibanez to try to keep things going. So Ibanez strides to the plate. He is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single and 3 trips. He's also driven in a run. So he bats from the right side against the right-handed slants of Miles Michaelis. Ibanez with a closed stance. Michaelis holds at the belt, and he delivers a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Hard to keep your concentration when you're the home plate umpire, as this game has got the bit of a run spread here. That last pitch looked like it was a bit up, but you know, when you're been the Americans, you've been all around the zone tonight. There's a breaking ball that is waved out and missed, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball, check that, no balls and 2 strikes to Ibanez. I had it down as a 1-0, but it's actually 0-1. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ibanez will be followed by Quintana, who came into the ballgame to replace Ariel Martinez. As that pitch is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. I don't know if there's a mercy rule or if they're going to finish. I think this is, for all intents and purposes, this game should be over. I don't think there's a mercy, or I think there is a mercy rule in this play as well. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and tap foul. It's going to keep the count at 2-2 to Ibanez. As he waits here on the offering from Michaelis, who works to the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on, and it is popped up over on the right side of the infield. Moving underneath it is Pete Alonso. He's calling off his teammate Jeff McNeil. He makes the catch, and he is going to make the grab there, and that is going to retire Ibanez. for the third out of the inning. Well, we are going to go to the bottom of the seventh. I guess there was only in the pool play that they had mercy rules. We're going to see Will Smith, Pete Alonso, and Jeff McNeil come to bat in a 13-2 ball game. I think at this point, all you got to care about is you're hoping nobody else gets hurt and nobody else gets injured. So we're going to go to the bottom of the seventh. Your score is Team USA 13, Cuba 2. Hang tight, everybody. We will be back in just a couple moments. We thought we would be off the hook for this one, but nope, we got a couple more innings still to call. We'll be right back after this. It's almost a self-induced mercy rule is what should be in place, but yet we are going to be going to the bottom of the seventh inning as the Americans will come to bat. It is going to be the hitters in the batting order. Will Smith, Pete Alonso, and Jeff McNeil will be back in just a couple moments after these musical tunes. Help keep us into this one. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. The Americans have a 13-2 lead over Cuba here as we're moving to the bottom of the seventh inning. It is a good old-fashioned beatdown. It'll be Will Smith, Pete Alonso, and Jeff McNeil to come to bat in the bottom half of the seventh. Runs have been scored often and all over the place. And it will be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters to get things going for Team USA here in the seventh inning. 13-1 for the U.S., 2-10-0 for Cuba is the line score. That is where we're at right now. Obviously, at a score line like this is a little bit of a difference. We've got Jose Rodriguez in the ballgame. He's worked a third of an inning. He pitched against Italy. Gave up 3 hits, 1 run. He hadn't struck out any and had walked none. So Jose Rodriguez continues the pitching parade. This is going to be number 7. We do have a new third baseman. It's going to be Luis Mateo, as he's coming in to take over for Yohan Moncada, who left the game under his own power, but it looked like he was a little woozy after colliding with the left fielder, Roel Santos. So the first pitch delivered to Will Smith as a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is quickly 0-1. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is popped up over on the right side. Racing back over on it is the first baseman, Yadir Drake, and he's going to make an over-the-shoulder catch. And that is going to retire Frank Alvarez, or that's going to retire the batter Will Smith for out number 1. To say Frank Alvarez was replaced here by Jose Rodriguez. As we said, Jose Rodriguez is going to be the 7th pitcher used by Cuba tonight. So he gets the first out he has faced. It's been hard for the Cubans tonight. They have not retired the Americans in order in any of the innings yet. There's a breaking ball to Pete Alonso that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Alonso tonight officially 1 for 3 and an RBI. He's also been hit by a pitch and scored a run. He's 2 for 13 in the tournament. He takes a breaking ball across for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. That was definitely a hanger. It was a hanging fastball, one that I'm sure if he saw again, he'll try to deposit into the seats. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here's the pitch. It is a changeup that is swung on and tap foul right at home plate. The count goes to 1-2. 1 for 3 tonight, 2 for 13 in the tournament for Alonso. So here he is at the dish here, waiting on the offering from the right-hander Rodriguez, who kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that misses outside. They appeal over to the first base umpire, Quinn Walcott, but they say he didn't go. It's going to even the count at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander Rodriguez ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's chopped over the head of the pitcher. It's fielded by the second baseman, Ibanez. He throws off balance and on the run, and that's going to retire Alonso on a ground out, 4-3 for out number 2. And that'll leave it up to the flying squirrel, Jeff McNeil. So I don't want to give the kiss of death to the United States. A 13-2 ball game. But as we said before, the Cubans are yet to retire. The Americans in order here. This is the third time tonight they've retired the first 2 in the inning. And then they haven't been able to finish off the inning. It's either a walk, a hit batter, whatever it is, an error has allowed the Americans to keep the innings alive. First pitch delivered to McNeil is a fastball, take it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. McNeil came in to replace Tim Anderson back in the 5th inning. And there's a fastball that is delivered. He swings at it. He rolls it over to the second baseman, and it's going to be a ground out, 4-3. And as I had predicted, first time tonight, the Americans go in order in the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board. We're now through 7 complete. It is the USA 13, Cuba 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call here in just a couple moments. Glad you guys are still hanging with us. And for those of you who left early, well, maybe you'll miss the greatest Cuban comeback of all time. I don't think so, but we'll be back in a moment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Appreciate you there, Matt, and your support of our channel. And in turn, we like to support Matt Hollis. We do have the Cubans coming to bat here in the top of the 8th inning in a blowout. And it is going to be Quintana coming to hit as he has replaced Ariel Martinez in the order. It's going to be Mexico, Japan tomorrow night. So hopefully you can come on back with us as we'll be on the call as the first pitch delivered is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball 1. And the count is 1-0. Quintana bats from the right side against the right-handed throwing Michaelis. And there's a fastball swung through it, missed. And the count goes even at 1-1. Mookie Betts has now come in to play second base. And the flying squirrel, Jeff McNeil, is now out in right field. So Mookie is going to be patrolling second base here. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away right into the feet of Quintana. The count is now 1-2. As we said, Quintana came on for Martinez earlier on. And he is here batting in the inning. And there's a breaking ball that misses down. And the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. He waggles the bat, does the right-handed hitting catcher, and there's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded softly to short. It's fielded by Turner. He throws across the diamond, and that is going to retire Quintana on a ground out 6-3 for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that will bring up Yadier Drake. So for Yadier Drake, he's 1 for 3 tonight. He's 8 for 20 in the tournament. He has a single in 3 trips, and he's grounded out twice to the shortstop. So the Mexicans tomorrow night against the Japanese should be a electric crowd. I would think a very pro-Mexican crowd. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. Curious to see who the Americans will choose to send to the mound in the Wednesday game. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. Or in the Tuesday game, I should say. When you start thinking about the lineups, they already used Lance Lynn, and they've used the combination of Michaelis as well as Adam Wainwright tonight. There's a breaking ball that misses up and in to Drake, and the count is now 2-1. I had to speculate who that possibly could be. I'm not sure. I don't think Kyle Freeland is a candidate. I wouldn't put him as the potential starter. There's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled away. It's going to reach the seats on the first base side. Count is now 2-2. They had started Nick Martinez in one of the other games earlier on, and Brady Singer did not pitch well. Well, maybe Nick Martinez gets another one, and then maybe it's just a steady diet of relievers. Although maybe it's Merrill Kelly who will get the call. Be interested to see if he gets the start. There's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Yadier Drake. If they decide to start Merrill Kelly or maybe go with Freeland, then as I said, there's Kendall Graveman, Aaron Lupin, a steady parade of bullpen arms as there's a ground ball hit to the right side. Mookie Betts moves to his left. He fields it, and he throws to first, and that is going to retire Yadier Drake for out number 2. It's a ground out 4-3. And that'll leave it up to the right fielder, Yoelklis Giebert. But all eyes are also on the Japanese. I'm curious to see who they may consider throwing in their game on Tuesday. Will it be Showtime, Shohei Ohtani, or is it going to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Should they get through the Mexicans? Here's the pitch from Miles Michaelis. It's a fastball delivered to Giebert for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So as I say, I don't want to look too far ahead, but we can start speculating now because this game is out of control. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The Americans are ahead here 13-2 in the top of the 8th inning. Cuba has 2 outs here as they bat. Giebert here tonight has 2 hits and 3 trips. He is 5 for 17 in the tournament. And here comes the offering from Michaelis. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's lifted into the seats down the third base line, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brady Singer up and throwing in the American bullpen, so that might answer that question. He's not going to be a starter in the next game. They're going to get some mop-up action here after getting roughed up against the Mexicans in pool play earlier on, as there's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul. The count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mike Trout getting the rest of the night off as Cedric Mullins had moved into center field when he came on to run for Trout. There's a breaking ball that misses away, and the count is now 2-2 to Giebert. When this one is done, we will give you the recap of the scoring in this one. And then we will call it a night and do it all over again tomorrow. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is a jam job. A nice piece of hitting by the batter, Giebert, to stay inside the ball, and he's able to fight it off and go the other way with it. Ball's going to drop in front of the left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, for a base hit, and that's going to put him to first base, and it'll bring up the top of the order in Roel Santos. So runner at first, 2 gone, and Santos steps to the plate. He is 1 for 4 this evening. He's got a single and 4 trips. He's grounded to second. He's flown out twice to center field. He waggles the bat, and he's waiting here on the offering from Miles Michaelis, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Michaelis leans in, and he gets the sign from his catcher, Smith. He delivers a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 2-0. One would have to think it's going to be JT Realmuto back behind the dish in the Tuesday championship game. He was clunked there in yesterday's game right before Turner hit the grand slam. So that fastball catches the outside corner, and the count's now 2-1 to Santos. Santos has had a pretty good tournament at the plate. He is 7 for 18. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 2-2. As I said, he's the only player in the starting lineup tonight with stolen bases for the Cubans. He has 2 of them. When I think of Cuba, I think of a team number of years ago that could really run and could do everything. They had all kinds of tools in their toolbox, but the game has changed a little bit. They don't have the same weaponry right now as they've had in recent years. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses way upstairs. Well, in fact, Santos is the only player with any stolen bases. So sometimes that's a product of you don't need to run. You don't have to do little things when you're always beating up on other teams, but there's a fastball swung on and another one fouled away. And this is going to be the 7th pitch now coming up to the at-bat for Santos. Sometimes teams get into the habit where they maybe play a little differently sometimes. Epiphany Card Collector still hanging in here with us. We appreciate you. We figured for 2 reasons. Either he's cheering the Americans on to victory, or he wanted to see if Cuba was going to have the greatest comeback of all time. And here's the 3-2 pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is chopped over the head of the pitcher. It is fielded by the shortstop, Turner, behind the bag at second. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Santos. Goes as a ground out 6-3 to end the inning. And that is going to do it here in the 8th. There was no runs in the inning. There was a 1 Cuban hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 7.5 innings in Miami. Your score is USA 13, Cuba 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the 8th inning when we return. It'll be 9-1-2 in the batting order for the Americans. Turner, Betts, and Mullins coming to bat.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
That's right, everybody. It's Matt Hollis. Be sure to check him out after the game. Here's a little Cherokee Shuffle to get you fired up for the bottom of the 8th inning. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving here to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's going to be the 9-1-2 hitters in the batting order. That means it's going to be Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, and Cedric Mullins. And boy, oh boy, has Trey Turner had himself another night tonight. He has 2 homers in his 4 trips to the plate. He had a solo shot in the 2nd, and he had a 3-run bomb in the 6th. And he takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Turner facing Rodriguez here, who retired the Americans in order in the 7th. He delivers a fastball. It's fouled away for a quick count of 0-2. Turner in the tournament is now 7-18. He hit a solo shot in the first. He grounded to third in the third. He singled in the 5th, and then he hit a 3-run blast again in the 6th inning. His 4th of the tournament. Pretty impressive stuff, as there's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted down the first base line, but it's going to reach the seats about 20 rows back. That is going to keep the count at no balls and 2 strikes. He is currently tied with Vladimir Valentin of the Netherlands and Ian Beltre for the Dominican with 4 homers. It is Yoop Lee who is got the most in the tournament, or any tournament. Adrian Beltre did it with the Dominicans a few years ago. So 4 home runs is the second most amount all time. So he is having himself quite the run here, as the last pitch was a breaking ball that missed outside, and there's another breaking ball that he swings up and fouls away, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Trey Turner. He'll be followed by the second baseman now, Mookie Betts, and then Cedric Mullins, who came in to replace Mike Trout. As that fastball misses down and in, the count is now 2-2. The other night, we were wondering if Turner was going to put a charge into another one. This would be the time to do it here. He's getting a steady diet of pitches. There's a breaking ball that is up in the zone, and the first base umpire, Quinn Walcott, said he went around. And Trey Turner has been rung up for the first out of the inning. That's 5 in a row now retired by the Cuban pitchers. It only took them 6+ innings to get on a groove, but they've now maybe figured out the American hitters here late in the game. While Mookie Betts strides to the plate, he has had himself a night, 3 for 5. He's had 2 singles, a double. He's scored a couple of runs, and he takes a first pitch changeup for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Betts now on the tournament is 8 for 26. As the pitch is delivered, it's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count now is 1-1. Betts began the game tonight in right field, and he came in the last half inning to second base as they put Jeff McNeil out in the outfield, and there's the breaking ball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats down the first base line. Americans now have a left-hander up and throwing in the bullpen. It is Aaron Loop. They had Brady Singer up and throwing in the last half inning, but maybe his day is done, and maybe they're going to turn it over to Loop. And we have time called again on the field, and again, we've got ourselves what looks to be a pitch invader. So if you want to catch that highlight, make sure you get on to TikTok or possibly onto YouTube as well here a little later on, and you guys can find the streaker or the protester, depending upon what it is. But this is a problem that when you have international games and you have certain spots where games are being played, in Miami, where there's a huge Cuban population in the United States. And of course, in the United States and their relationship politically between the two countries, there's always going to be people that are going to have something to say, and it's hard to keep them, especially on a ball diamond, from intruding onto the field. And so it disrupts the play. It disrupts the play for both of the teams, and it brings politics into the front and center. So that is why we are in a bit of a pause here as they're waiting. Mookie Betts has 1 ball and 2 strikes against them as they can take this yo-yo off the field. Ironically, we don't get baseball players running through the legislature or running through the Senate in the United States, nor do we see baseball players with their bats running through stuff in other places, but yet protesters constantly like to run on the field in sporting events all over the world. So it looks like we've got this one cleared up. And now we were ready to resume the action. So John Tumpane ready to go again, and hope that person has a nice night in jail. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lofted into left center field. Moving over underneath it is Luis Robert. He makes the catch. And that is going to retire Mookie Betts for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 away, and it's going to leave it all up to Cedric Mullins. So Aaron Loop is up and throwing in the pen, as we mentioned before. Dave Righetti is the bullpen coach for the Americans. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right center field. Moving back on the warning track and looking up, and it's just going to land right in front of the 387 sign. That's about 5 feet past the home run fence. Cedric Mullins has hit a solo shot. So he has hit himself a home run here, and another one leaves the yard for Team USA as he has come in place for Mike Trout, and Cedric Mullins goes yard on the first pitch he sees from Rodriguez. And that extends the scoreline to 14-2 for Team USA. He turned on the first pitch he saw and hammered that thing, and now we got Paul Goldschmidt at the dish, and he takes the first pitch for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Mullins wasted no time getting around the bases. There's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled right off the mask of the catcher, Quintana. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Goldschmidt. We have ourselves a 14-2 scoreline. The Americans continue to put runs on the board. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it is a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It is fielded by Ibanez. He throws off his back leg to first and is going to retire Goldschmidt on a ground out 4-3. Well, the Americans got a run in the inning on the solo shot by Mullins. There was 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 8. It is the Americans leading this game here 14-2. We'll be back in just a couple of moments as Cuba is coming up for their last wraps, so to speak. Hang tight. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Derpy Entertainment jumps in and says, bro, why are they still playing? Is there no mercy rule? Well, we thought there was still a mercy rule, but it looks like in the semifinals and the finals, you play till the end, and that is where we are here. The beatdown is continued as it is 14-2 for the United States over Cuba as we move to the top of the 9th inning. And hence, that is why it is still going on. There's no mercy rule. Maybe for the commentators, we needed one. Because boy, oh boy, it can be a little bit tough sometimes when you're having to watch a game that is completely out of hand. And that's kind of where we're at right now, as this game here is out of hand. So the Americans are going to be on defense here for the top of the 9th inning. And the batting coming up to bat for the Cubans here, as Johan Moncada had left the game. It'll be Luis Mateo. He's going to lead it off. It'll be Luis Robert and Alfredo Despaigne. So it'll be Luis Mateo here to get things going. And it's Aaron Loop who is now in the ball game. This will be the 3rd pitcher used by the United States tonight, as he is ready to go. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on and is grounded softly over to first. Fielded neatly by Goldschmidt. He's going to step on the base. That's going to go down as a ground out to 3 for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 away. And that is going to bring up Luis Robert. We do have a new catcher in the game. It is Kyle Higashioka that is here. So he is going to be behind the dish. And now we have Robert that is here at the plate. We are waiting here on the offering. So here comes the offering from Loop, who kicks and delivers to Luis Robert. And it is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. And the count now is no balls and 1 strike to Robert. Luis Robert has struggled through the tournament. He is 6 for 26. Here's the pitch from Loop. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 0-2. One would have to think that Luis Robert is the future of Cuban baseball. He's not that old a fella yet. I don't even think he's in his prime yet. Maybe entering it. If he can stay healthy this year, he's going to be a very impactful player for the White Sox. Aaron Loop works to the set position. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count remains at 1-2. At no balls and 2 strikes. So no balls and 2 strikes it is. As Robert digs in here, it's 3 more out to go, and this one will be in the books. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It's going to be a base hit, as Robert's going to have his second hit of the night. He's got a single up the middle here with 1 out, and that'll bring up, or it's slated to bring up, the designated hitter, Alfredo Despaigne. Interesting that you don't always get to see the players. They haven't really emptied the benches, have the Cubans. So 1 away here with Robert at first and Despaigne at the plate. Aaron Loop working from the set, and he kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to short, fielded by Turner. Over to Betts for 1, back to first. It's a double play. And that is going to end the ball game. It's going to go in the books as a 6-4-3 double play. And that will do it here for the Cubans in their half of the 9th inning. There was no runs. There was a hit. No errors, and nobody left the board. Your final score from Miami is the United States 14, Cuba 2. We appreciate everybody who has listened into this one tonight, and thank you for your support. Don't forget, we're going to be back on the call again tomorrow night for Japan and Mexico. Hopefully you guys can join us for that one. I am going to come back in about 30 seconds and give everybody a recap on how this one had ended. And then we'll also talk a little bit about what's coming up on the channel, and we'll call it a night. But once again, we appreciate everybody for being here with us. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a moment to give this one a wrap. Welcome back, everybody. Your final score was Team USA knocking off the Cubans. Your final score was 14-2. We'll give you the rundown here as the scoring came early and often. It was in the first inning. The Cubans got things going in the top of the first. It was back-to-back-to-back singles by Santos, Moncada, and Robert to load the bases, and then a bases-loaded walk to Alfredo Despaigne brought in the first run of the ball game. But the Cubans weren't able to do any more damage as they were retired in that inning, only scoring 1 run. Well, the Americans responded quickly after a leadoff double by Mookie Betts. Mike Trout lined out to right, and then Paul Goldschmidt stepped up and hit a 2-run homer in the first inning to take the lead 2-1, and then the Americans really never looked back. In the second inning, they added to their lead as Trey Turner hit his first home run of the ball game, a solo shot that increased the lead to 3-1. And then in the third inning, it was after with 1 out, Nolan Arenado singled. Kyle Schwarber was hit by a pitch. Will Smith walked to load the bases. And then Pete Alonso had an RBI single to drive in the 4th run of the game. And then Tim Anderson had a sac fly to knock in run number 5. In the 4th inning, the Americans yet again scored. With 2 out, this time the damage was done. It was a walk to Paul Goldschmidt, and then it was a triple by Nolan Arenado that brought home Goldie, and then a wild pitch brought home Nolan Arenado, and that made the score 7-1 for Team USA. When the top of the fifth inning, Cuba got one back. It was a leadoff double by Johan Moncada. And then with 2 out, it was Erizabel Arobarena singled to put runners on the corners. And then Andy Ibanez knocked home Moncada, and that cut the lead to 7-2. Well, after that, it was all Team USA. In the fifth inning, bottom of the fifth, Pete Alonso led off. He was hit by a pitch. Then it was Jeff McNeil walked as he came into bat for Tim Anderson. Trey Turner then singled to load the bases. And then there was 2 quick outs. And the next thing you know, Paul Goldschmidt singled home a pair of runs. And that increased the lead to 9-2. Well, in the sixth inning, the Americans added 4 more runs. A leadoff double by Will Smith. And then with 1 out, Jeff McNeil walked. And then Trey Turner hit his second home run of the ball game, a 3-run variety that left the yard again in a big-time hurry. And that put up the Americans to a 12-2 lead. Then Mookie Betts singled. And then it was a Mike Trout double, and he knocked in Betts, and that increased the lead to 13-2. The final run of the ball game was added on in the 8th inning. It was the cherry on top. With 2 gone, Cedric Mullins, who came in to play for Mike Trout, had a solo shot to right center field. And that was how the ball game ended, with a home run by Cedric Mullins. 14-2 is where it all finished up. Well, that's the final news and notes on this one, everybody. We appreciate everybody for listening in tonight. Josh, yes, we thank you again. We'll see you again tomorrow night, Living Room Sports. We appreciate you for being here as well. Everybody else who stopped in, Epiphany Card Collector. We had Steve Rademacher, Derpy Entertainment. We had Troy. We had everybody else who checked in, Big Ray, and anybody else I may have missed, Tony in the chat. We appreciate you for all being here. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night. It's going to be Japan and Mexico. Same time, same place. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We hope you enjoyed this one. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you again.